Oh, that's right. I was streaming. I forgot. Where was I? No, I wanted to come on because this is sort of like my semi-weekly social occasion, but I don't want to be on all night. I want to do like an hour and change. I always say that. I took a Concerta, methylphenidate the other night, and I was really in focus mode. I was like hyper focused, and I got through a bunch of shit. And then, like, it helps me. There are pros and cons, but it helps me clear my mind for the time being. So it does help. But I found that you got to be, when you take the pill, you've got to be concentrated on that to focus on whatever you're focusing on in that moment becomes the thing. So I'm afraid if I take this pill, I'll just be focused on streaming all night, which. Yeah, I'm going to share that with you in a minute. Hold on. So I'm going to take this now. No, I'll tell you, I'm actually, thanks for bringing it up. I'll tell you about that in a minute. Okay, so it's a quarter to midnight Eastern Daylight Savings Time. So I'll give myself an hour, so around 1 o'clock, because there's stuff I got to do. Now, I fucked up. I wanted to cook this meal, and I got a late start. It was the first time I ever cooked it. So it actually came out decently, but I didn't finish till much later. My brother had to go to bed. He had some of it, and it's very filling. I can't eat anymore. What it is, I saw some line. I took some, a couple of onions, cut them up. Took some garlic, cut that up. Sauteed it in olive oil. So got that. Put that to the side. Got a couple of pork loins. Split them down the middle. Put all the stuffing in, the mushroom, the garlic, added some seasoning, and then I wrapped them in bacon. And it is delicious. This is basically pork loin. It's pork wrapped in pork. It's pork loin, bacon, and inside you've got, I didn't have any mushrooms. They say you can do mushrooms, but I had garlic and onion. It is delicious, but it's filling as hell. It's very good recipe. And I felt bad because my brother had to go to bed, so I thought, all right, it'll be there when you come home today. Plenty, it'll be a good meal for him tonight. I'm thinking, should I make some pasta or something else simple so they're like 2 meals, so we have to cook for a few days because I got a late start. That's my fault. And then, because my pattern has been off, like last night I was up doing all that stuff. I was in go mode. And I started to crash, but it was the morning and I'm like, huh. So I laid down later than I should have and got up several times on and off, dysregulated sleep. But so that's why I took the pill now, and maybe I can focus on. It does seem to help me concentrate on the task and not get bogged down by it. It's either that or streaming. And when I'm streaming, all I can do is stream. So at least with this pill, it's like my other escapism. This is delicious, but I already had. They're actually like the one. I'm not sure if the one these loins came wrapped. I think I cut into one too much, so it cut in. Adderall. I don't know. It's they're all similar. Methylphenidate. I'm trying to tell you about this. You're interrupting me. This was pretty good, wherever this was. No, I'm not, because my pattern's been off. I've been up later in the morning than I want to be. Well, is what it is. Yeah, the bacon, fully cooked, but it's not burned. The inside is brown. The inside loin, it's not undercooked, but it's not totally dried out. This came out phenomenally. I wanted to share with you. So thank you, Nostalgia Bash, for reminding me. But I'll eat the rest of that later. It's just too fucking filling. My God. But the first one, I cut through this. It comes wrapped in plastic. I cut through. I think I sliced in half. So I made 2 like minis. And the second one, I opened it carefully, but it was still sliced in half. So I don't know if these loins came pre-cut or if it was like 2 loins in one. But split down the middle, add the filling, wrap in bacon, bake. But it took a lot. That's the thing. It takes a lot longer to bake because you read these recipes online. They say 20 minutes. Nah, bullshit. It takes like an hour or so to bake. This is pork we're talking about. And I got this. This is like a jumbo-sized Geek Bar. And it's good, but I've noticed it came out of the box not fully charged. It was only like, maybe like 70% charged. So I'd probably have to stop and charge this at some point. But look at all the pretty stars and constellations. See that? Isn't that beautiful? But it's only at, what is that, like 50% charge now? It came out of the box only, I know they're going to lose some charge, but they're usually closer to 100. This was already kind of low. So I don't know how long, being the size it is, it might take longer to charge. So yes, I took a methylphenidate. I'm going to see if I can like get down to brass tacks in a bit, but I needed some kind of distraction. So yes. Thank you for distracting me. Thank you for joining me on your other. You guys are all such social butterflies. You had so much to do this Saturday night, and you've come to say hi to me, and I feel flattered. I feel, I don't know, just tickled pink, you know. Now where were we? Okay. Anyway, I was thinking to myself, for some reason I thought of that song. Came in from a rainy Thursday on the avenue, still can't escape the ghosts of you, but I know I can survive, and if I have to make my way through an ordinary world, somehow I stay alive, and I won't cry for yesterday. In an ordinary world, somehow I can survive. This might not be the exact lyrics, but I always loved that song. I guess all I can try to do is survive in the ordinary world when I'm not very ordinary, which means I always said when you're a weirdo, weird things happen to you. Well, I've explained many times. My brother and I moved back into this house after my father's stroke. My parents had this landline for years. When I moved them out, I was going to transfer it with them, but they moved too far out of range to keep the landline. So we still have it. When we move out of here, we'll probably end the landline service. See, if you actually pay attention, try to get to know me, you might learn something, but you don't. Anyway, I wanted to share real quick. Let's see here. My brother and I, before he went to bed, he did have some. I felt bad because I was getting finished around the time he's like, I got to work tomorrow. I said, fuck it, be late, get suspended, He's like, no, you lazy fuck, I need this. I'm like, fine. But anyway, we did see, he had a little, he said it was very good. He's like, he can't wait he's not gonna have it for breakfast. He was afraid of getting heartburn. He's like, I don't eat too much, get heartburn. But he said when he comes home tomorrow, so at least I'll have food. So tomorrow it's about cooking, thank God. But I might throw in some like cavatelli. I'm not a big pasta guy, but I always love cavatelli. That's a fairly simple dish. We make some cavatelli, so we have like 2 meals to choose from, and that should tide us over for 2-3 days, hopefully. Well, okay, first of all, I'll think about it, but right now I want to share something else first. But before we do that, just general, I may be a weirdo, but I always tell my shrink, I understand there's a social line you do not cross. You don't whip your dick out and piss on the floor. If someone does that, they're nuts. Just like you don't threaten people on the job. There's a certain line you don't cross. And maybe this isn't as harsh, but if you want someone's attention, you want someone to talk with you, going up and saying, talk to me, you stupid fuck. The stupid fuck part isn't very nice. It is basic, etiquette 101. So if you want me to bring you on, you got to be a little more friendly. This is just, my grievances. You don't even know me. You don't even know enough about me to have grievances. You've been fed your grievances. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we won't. But we're not gonna. Even if I take you on, we're not gonna start with that bullshit. We're gonna start with. What I want to start with, which is this. Can I share screen? Okay, so our Lord and Savior Todd uploaded a video, and it's a rather short one. It's about 17 minutes, and he spends the first 15 minutes rambling about sports. And I say to each their own. To me, like I always said, I didn't watch Todd for his tennis talk, or his e-girls, or his computer. Some of the video game stuff could be interesting-ish. I loved his philosophy, but this is why you got to find the diamond in the rough. I think was it my last stream I was talking about, I think with Totem and it was a Dev Pike. I was talking about, they were talking about 4chan. I said, you always got to look for the diamond in the rough. And while this video of Todd's didn't really do it for me, I really wanted to hone in on what I thought was like the meat and potatoes, the gem of the stream. And I wanted to expound upon that with my own thoughts. So this isn't going to be a sports talk. He spends most of the video talking about American sports corrupt. It kind of ruins, for true fans, it ruins the love. And I understand all that. That makes sense, but not my interest. But it's probably accurate. But here's where I want to. Let's go.
it just sucks where you live in a world and like capitalism has failed. It doesn't work. It's one of those things that in theory it sounds good, but in practice, no, it was a mistake. Because all it's going to mean is that people are going to get ahead by any means, and this just goes to like all aspects of life. Like you even look at like the behavior of the common man today. Like it's just like it's just become so normalized. Like every man needs to act normal. But what does act normal mean? Act normal means be a good wage slave, make money, and do whatever to please some fucking woman. That's all it means. All acting normal is you're just trying to fuck the tightest, youngest pussy you can. That's all it really means.
Was there more? I'm trying to remember.
It sucks.
This was like the gem of the video.
You know, just again, just like more copes getting ruined with this fucking bullshit. I'm tired. Like even this March Madness, like this is like the first year I really didn't even watch much of it.
I think that was
now I have like zero interest. Whereas it used to be, I mean, my God, when in like the 90s and 2000s, like it was like religious for me.
Yeah,
I would skip school, you know, those Thursdays and Fridays of the tournament back then. Like I would skip school when I could, because it was just like an event, you know. And you know, you cheer on, you know, St. Mary's School of the Deaf, and it's just no, can't do that anymore. Fuck that. Yeah. Damn geese.
Okay. Well, I figured I'd run it out because it's almost over. But what I wanted to talk about,
and then worse off, like I'm gonna have to stop wearing all my Syracuse shirts. I'm only gonna be, no more Syracuse orange wear. Now I just have to wear orange clothing. Only orange. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's stop that. Oh, pause that. Okay. Give me a minute. Okay. So what was I saying? First, that last part. I would ask him back when he was younger and he was getting all excited to skip school to go cheer on St. Mary's School for the Deaf. Was he excited about the actual sport itself, or being part of a greater crowd, or part of something bigger, or thinking this was a step to being more normie, or he just really loved it? He enjoyed it that much. It was his special interest. I don't know. But what I wanted to talk about was what he said earlier about, capitalism and the system, and it's all fucked up. What I've always believed, and I've spoken with my brother about this. We see our sister, I think what we call capitalism is really more what I would call corporate communism. We live in a corporate communistic world. And by that, I mean, like my sister has said sometimes, oh, that's my job. Making six figures is so stressful. Sometimes I just want to like work at a grocery store and decorate cakes. Well, if she went and actually did that, she'd be making minimum wage and she'd be treated like total dog shit. She thinks her job is so hard now. And in a just world, she would be fucking, decorating cakes at a fucking grocery store in the bakery section. But she was given her job because we need more women. And I read recently about, there was, in the past, you would hear these stories about black people with stereotypical black names. My name is Shaniqua Johnson, or my name is, I don't know, Dewan Robinson or whatever. They would change their first names to something more normal. Like I'm Jennifer Thompson. I'm William Jones or whatever. And they would suddenly get job offers when they couldn't get job offers with names like Shaniqua and Lawanda and all that crap. And they were saying recently a white guy did the same thing. He was applying to the capitalist society, what I call the corporate communism. He applied as himself, whatever his name was, Frank Jones or whatever, and he got nothing. Then he changed his name to Sagupta Singh, and all of a sudden he got like 3 or 4 callbacks. And I look at my sister. we went through when she was coming up. There was this push to get more white women in the corporate America to balance out all those men. I listen to my sister; she's really like more so than she was younger. Men, I haven't heard. We've been estranged for the past 2 years. Men have all the privileges, men. But then you look at these Indians, men, male and female, street shitters in their own fucked up country. Like, do we need? So in other words, and I know if I were to say this to my sister, she'd be like, "Do you think you deserve that money? You entitled?" I'm saying no, not me. I could die in a gutter. I'm just saying it is not a what's the word? Meritocracy. It's we need more white women. Now we need a bunch of like brown people. So let's import them. And they build new housing, and it's immediately filled with foreigners who came into this country. Like where I take these, I took one of these medical van rides. It's all like I just came to this country 6 months ago, and they're about to crash. I'm like, do we need? I can't find a house, but we got to import foreigners and give them housing. So I consider that what I call corporate. It's almost like this corporate or even government level communism. So what we call a capitalist society isn't fully capitalist. Well, you're only privileged, Bob, if you're on the privileged list. So these dot heads aren't super geniuses. They'd be shitting in the streets in India, but they're brought, the mechanism, the system brings them here and gives them these jobs. My sister would be decorating cakes, thinking it's nice and easy, when she'd be treated like garbage by people there. It's a very tough job dealing with normies all day. And the shittier, lower wages, there's less decorum. But yeah, I've always seen it more as corporate communism. And Robert, you and I are on the outs with the current system. So what I would say is in a capitalist or really corporate government communist society, the best thing to do is to be a NEET, but be glad you live in a quote unquote capitalist society. Being a NEET in an actual socialist paradise must be hell. You look at Russia, what it was, or China. I think the only answer is, well, thank God the society is rich and wealthy. Let those who want to live those normal lives go out and get that pussy, that tight pussy, and act normal. Good. Let them pay into a system. And the only way to really survive in this disaster, where I'm not on the special list like these brown people or like my sister, the only way is to try to get NEET bucks. So it is have no shame, because we already have communism. They're giving capital. They're giving away capital based on skin color or what's between your legs, not based upon merit. And my sister thinks she's such a hard worker. She got that job by working. I'm like, yeah, okay. You may have worked harder than other girls who are in the running, but you still have to you still have to fit that quota, be in that slot. You know what I mean? So I look at her and I think she doesn't get it. She doesn't realize how, and I wouldn't blame her if she said, man, I was lucky. I was a young white female at a time when they were looking for young white females, and I got in. Hey, do what you got to do. But she really believes she made it on her own. Hard work, the American dream. I know it's like the corporate communism, the corporate socialist government thing was in her favor, and now it's like can't find a place to rent. They just built a bunch of places. Oh, they're already filled. Oh, have these people been on waiting lists for years? No, they just came to this country 6 months ago. So how the hell are they living? I don't. So it's those people haven't gotten the American dream. They're just being given capital. It is a form of communism. So get your piece of the pie and get your fucking NEET bucks, and let the others who want to be normal pay into it. Because most people wouldn't want NEET bucks. Most people still want to fight for the society because they like Todd said, they want that slither of pussy, being normal, showing they can get that tidy. So if I can't be normal, and I'm not on the special list, like my sister or these foreign garbage people, well, then I got to get myself on my own alternate list. So I was happy to hear that. What Todd was saying, that was the gem of it. He was talking more about the corruption and the capitalist society, and people with pointy hats can fix games to make a few $1 million more at the expense of the fans' enjoyment. Yeah, all that's true. But in a broader point, I wish my brother was here. He had to go to bed. In a broader point, like this is what I think we do a form of communism. All these brown people who came into this country recently, driving around like brand new cars. How do you think they can afford it? That's correct. Brosi is normal and works. Well, he's not really normal, but he's normie adjacent, Spurg adjacent, somewhere between Spurg and normie. And you're right, it's not doing him any favors. He's not climbing any ladders. He's not getting that tight pussy. So yes, that's why I enjoyed what Todd was saying there about. Here, we'll go back to it. Where was that? Hold on. Where was that point? It was like the 14-minute mark, around 14 minutes. Also, I noticed. You see we're in May now. You're seeing the early spring bloom. He said it was a fairly mild and snowless Europe there, yet he's wearing gloves. So is he overly sensitive, or do they get a cold snap up there? Why is he wearing gloves in May? But maybe it is chilly.
it just sucks where you live in a world and like capitalism has failed. It doesn't work.
Well, again, it's not even, yeah, I would agree with that. Basically, the general premise I agree with, but I'm saying it's not even, the society we live in isn't even capitalist. It's selectively capitalist, but it's also communistic and socialistic in giving capital to people who haven't deserved it at the expense. It has to come from somewhere, like an off-balance scale. Instead of trying to make everyone equal, some are favored and are given privileges that they didn't earn, which now, not only do you not get those privileges, you can't even like work hard for a slither of it because, okay, you know, we're going to give this guy $100 just for being. Okay, you got to work like a dog. Well, no one's going to give me $100, but maybe I can at least work hard and get $25. Nope, even the $25 is part of the 100 we've given away. So even working like a dog, I'm not even if I want to work for it, I'm not even getting a slither. So you're giving $100 to him. $75 is just giveaway money. The extra 25, I can work like a dog, but it's still going to him. So it's like corporate communism. I wish my brother and I, we talk about our sister. Yeah.
That's one of those things that in theory, it sounds good, but in practice, no, it was a mistake. Because all it's going to mean is that people are going to get ahead by any means. And it's like this just goes.
Well, that's true. Those of us who can't get the benefit from the corporate capitalism or corporate communism, rather, within this capitalist system, will try to do what they can to get whatever scraps they can. That's definitely so. Yes, the redistribution of wealth, like it's basically the government gives corporations the means and redistributes wealth to who. You know, we used to say affirmative action. Now we call it DEI. Same concept. You know. Yeah, this is the gem of the video. You can watch the whole thing. 17 minutes. The key point was, in my opinion, was at the 14-minute mark. Let's go back.
Like all aspects of life. Like you even look at like the behavior of the common man today. Like it's just like it's just become so normalized. Like every man needs to act normal. Well, what does act normal mean? Act normal means be a good wage slave, make money, and do whatever to please some fucking woman. That's all it means. All acting normal is you're just trying to fuck the tightest, youngest pussy you can. That's all it really means.
So yes, some more wise words. Even in a ramble about sports, there's some wisdom from Todd. But I still like my theory. We talked to my brother. We've hashed that. That's why I like having my brother here. Not just here, but in general. We do every now and then when he's not angry with me or I'm not like being a bum. We do like it and talks about our parents or our sister and like it touches on points of the wider world. And I've talked about this sort of corporate communism. Like, you know, the government says you need to award X amount of jobs to X amount of people. And, you know, on the internet, like I said, the white guy now, it used to be black Americans with like stereotypically black first names would like change the resume to something more like Jennifer or Sam or whatever. Now it's like if I put down an Indian name, I'm getting offers when I wasn't before, same credentials. It's almost like, so do these Indians really work harder? Or are they just imported, and who's importing them and why? And we're giving them, you know, just like they basically gave. I'm not saying my sister didn't work hard at all, but she really doesn't realize the privileges she's been granted, because a lot of it was privilege. Absolutely. Yes, Rafterman, scrap maxing. Your thoughts? But I guess it's kind of like, you know, I enjoy watching Todd. I like his philosophy. I don't know what most of his fan base gets out of him, but I get that. And oftentimes, like my brother says, when we talk here, it's like it's falling on deaf ears. Even if you disagree or you even listen to what we say half the time, whether you agree or disagree, it's almost like, oh, just make a little comment. Todd is God, scrap maxing. Okay, but we're talking about a greater point here. I'm not just talking about Todd or myself or even my sister. I'm talking about a greater concept that you can disagree with me on, but do you have any thoughts of our own? Or that's why streaming really is getting to be like, oh, it's a social outlet, but it's. I mean, does anyone have any? Or you could say you're right. Does anyone have any theories of what we said? Does anyone find the discussion interesting, or just? If not, don't say anything. Don't say something for the sake of saying it. But I'm guessing it's like all this talk is a waste of time. And you're not going to influence everybody or convince everybody, but no one even has it's strange. So I thought that was another good Todd video. Well, the video was kind of mediocre, but I think he needed the sports ramble to get to the juicy part. Right. Like the amount of obscene money my sister makes. Like she couldn't even file 1 year. If you make over 100 grand, you can't file taxes normally. You got to get some special addendum form, which no one, me, my brother, neither of my parents ever had to do anything like that. It was like she's like in a different world. And like I said, I wouldn't blame her if she said, yeah, I got in good. I was in the right time, right place, got into this IT shit when they were hiring a bunch of white women. So I knew I had the privilege. So I would say, yeah, take advantage of what you can. Take advantage of what you can. I don't falter for that. I falter for like she really believes or wants to believe. That's why I see a lot of here, this wanting to believe something that's just not true. I worked hard for it. We live in a world where men get all the privileges. No. You got a job you probably wouldn't have gotten. Whoa, you think you deserve it? No, not me. Some other dude who was more capable would have gotten it. You'd be baking cakes and seeing how it's. You think working in an office is stressful? Try working for 100 grand. Try working for peanuts at a fucking grocery store. She'd learn a lot about life that she's ignorant of. I would have more respect for her if she at least recognized her privilege and recognized how lucky she had it. But she doesn't seem to be able to do that. And she was given her privilege not by hard work alone or being the best at whatever she does, but it was part of that, what I call the corporate communism redistribution. Well, Rafter man, I don't know. You work from home, so you wouldn't have you wouldn't have any thoughts either way. I don't think you've ever had a sustained job. What I'm saying is, you think, oh, I work in a grocery store, it's a shit job. But at least the easy part is it's just do the work and la. No, it's just it's so fucked up, and you're working minimum wage. And I haven't even shared my stories. But I will. Yes, she went to college. Yes, I wrote a lot of her papers for her when she was in college. Yes. Doggo, she went to college. Okay. I want to do an hour of socialization. Yeah, I'm actually full. That is, he'll be. It was like 4 pieces. I guess it's 2 loins wrapped in bacon. It's very very filling. We'd rather talk about that than my. But no, I understand what Todd was saying about capitalism in general. But I think there's definitely a communistic aspect of what we call capitalism, but not we think of as traditional redistribute the wealth. It's redistributing the wealth for some who's ever on that special list. And right now, folks like me and you, Rafterman, and you, Doggo, and you, Bob Smith, and who else? Even this Nostalgia Bash, we're not on that list. So, guys like Nostalgia Bash can do their hardest to try to live that normie life. Good for them. But the rest of you, even you, Doggo, why would you want Neat Bucks? You don't get anything out of that. And now you've applied for Neat Bucks. You're welcome, Doggo. You climbed a stair. Did ever when you made that next stair, did you ever say, "Oh, I knocked OC for it, but now I see who's right"? Now I didn't think that way before. I've climbed a stair. Do we ever acknowledge climbing the stair, or do we? Yeah, it's fine. You got laid off, but oh, when did that happen? You told me you were still working a couple days. What happened? So now that happens a lot. I've noticed people often knock something, and then later on they turn around and they embrace it as if they were always like on board with it, never acknowledging, hey, I've changed my mind. I used to think this. Hey, you were right about that. They act as if they were always in the know or always of that mindset when they were once upon a time steadfastly against it. And when that happens, it makes me wonder, I guess all along you knew I was right, but you were afraid to take that step and acknowledge. And now that you've come to acknowledge, you don't want to acknowledge the fact that once upon a time you were a step behind. I think it's about acknowledgement. That's why there's that desire to attack that which is correct. And then when you finally embrace it, you don't want to acknowledge the fact that you were wrong and that, wow, this guy was actually, I spent so much time tearing him down. He was right the whole time. Oh, shit. I think that plays into it. But not that you tried to tear me down personally, but you understand it in a broader sense. Well, and why did you get laid off? Because AI can do what was your job? Some consulting, or you never gave me a straight answer. Something about you look at data and you present it in a way that makes sense. Like you can do the deep analytical, and you can like present it in a way to your to the less data inclined or something. Is that the gist of what you do? Because you never give me a straight answer. And why were you replaced? Because you don't come to the office enough, or because when AI took your job, or they think you're too old? You tell me, doggo. What the hell? No one's going to say. I'll put the link out. But I just wanted to add. There's that aspect. We do have a cat. We don't live in a true socialist, communist redistribute the wealth. With one party. It's not quite that, but there's definitely a socialist communist aspect about it, and it's the people who are the beneficiaries. The beneficiaries, they think they worked hard for it, never realizing they're being given the pie, and the rest of us can't even get scraps. They just look down and say, you're a loser. I worked hard. It's like giving them, it's like socialism without convincing them that they worked for it themselves. Your company got acquired. Oh no. Well, do you think you're going to get NeatBucks? You even told me you didn't think you'd get it. If you don't get it, you can try to find another job. What's your plan? Sound check. And you can disagree, but it seems like no one has a thought. No one thinks beyond, okay, all right, doggo, if you don't get your NeatBucks, are you going to try to find some other kind of part-time job? I used to tell you how lucky you were. You working like 3 or 4 days a week from home, not even 3 days a week from home. You made more money than like my brother going 6 days in person to some fucking wage slave job. My life is shit. No one wants to hire the unwanted autistic. Well, correct. It's a lived experience, Complex. Interviews never go. Well, change your name to Sagupta Singh, and you might, I don't know if you can fake your way through an interview, but you might get some calls, if you change your name to something. I should try that just for fun. Well, yeah, of course because you applied before you got laid off, and you're still. How's that going, by the way? Because it could take months. You're still caught up in that. You didn't apply, get rejected, and then you hired a lawyer flat out, but you're still in the midst of that. But if you don't get approved, do you plan to find some other job? Do you have enough savings for now? Yeah, but you understand the job market is skewed against you. It's not just that it's ass. The whole talk about corporate communism or corporate communism in a capitalistic society, and that's the way the government uses the corporations to divvy out the wealth to their chosen people who they've chosen, and those people think they've earned it when they're actually being given capital. Yes. Oh, that's what else I wanted to share. You just reminded me. Yeah, and good luck to you, Complex. Are you an American, or you want to go for SSDI? Are you Canadian? Or so? Where are you from? I told you I got one. They call me. Type this out. I got temporary disability insurance. Yeah, but see, that's the thing. You were so, NeatBucks is stupid. And I always tell my shrink, well, it's a safety net. If I get fired from a job, at least I have that with my track record. And you, who's been given like tons of money to do very little, you'll probably get your NeatBucks and I won't. Yeah, SSDI or SSI, depending on how much you paid into it. And Todd brought up a great point, because I was like, why wouldn't you go for SSDI? You get paid more. You don't have to worry about having, $999.90, none of that bullshit. They don't care how much is in your bank account. You just can't work over a certain threshold. And he said, well, the trade-off is, even though SSI pays less, it entitles him to certain programs you wouldn't get under SSDI, like his discounted rent and his discounted heating bill and all that. So I thought, maybe less is more. Less is more. That's why the guy's a genius. But anyway, I got my yeah, you're only 24. Yeah, I'm 44. So I've been working shit jobs for longer than you've been alive, probably. So it's like, yeah, I've paid into it. Maybe I should just. Is there a way? You don't have a choice. I'm going to find out. I'm thinking about it. That's why I tell you the rest of my story here. I don't know. Can you pick SSI versus SSDI? Todd made it sound like you know. No, he just. I should have asked him more specific. That's why I asked these Neat Bucks questions. He applied. Did he pick SSI, SSDI? From what I can tell, it looks like it, because I went through the lawyer the last time. It was a disaster. It seems like it's an automatic application for both. And he got SSI, not SSDI. He didn't know why. He didn't question it. Maybe it was worked out in the long run for him, but he didn't seem to know why. So maybe he couldn't even answer that question. And Complex says, I wish I could have asked you, had you asked Todd about his inheritance. Once his parents say he needs to get on SSDI to keep his, well, he's on SSI now. And that's what I said. If you were paying attention, I even said to Todd, this is the, I know this stuff you see, if you don't want SSDI, if you want to live that, like a Todd was talking about, you want to live that normie life, get that tight pussy, or if you're already on SSI, like, you're a fucking like teenager whose mommy got him on it, or you're not an American. I understand why this conversation might seem boring and pedantic and circular to people who it doesn't apply to. But that's where those people have to have some cognitive empathy and realize, okay, this might not mean anything to me, but it means something to them. That a lot of people struggle with it. But you seem to be one of the few who understand the importance of such questioning. And I did say to him, I said, listen, it doesn't matter if they don't have that much. You get a house, few cars, whatever they have. That's enough in assets to kick you off SSI. And he didn't really seem to have an answer. Something about a trust. But I think even SSDI, even though there's a higher threshold, that might also kick him off if he comes into that much, because SSDI, there's what do they call it? There's gainful employment. And inheritance would actually kind of be employment in a way, unless it's put in some kind of trust, because it would be assets going into your bank account, I'd imagine, unless I'm wrong about that. You can inherit as much as you want in SSDI without it being considered employment. You might be right. Maybe Todd can learn something from me. Maybe I can learn something from you. But speaking of temporary Neat Bucks, I got my temporary disability insurance, and they paid me out. They originally paid me out. Where is it? If I got these dates right. My accident was December 15th. And they cut me one check, which was for the day after, December 16th through March 15th. Or to type with a microphone. Oh, you can inherit as long as you don't sell stock with a gain. Okay. So, that's just, I didn't know that. I'm learning here if that's true. So, because I know about, what do you call it? Substantial SGA, substantial gainful. What is it? Now I'm forgetting. I used to know all this stuff. SGI, substantial gainful income. If you go back to work and you work over a threshold, but even if you don't work over that threshold, if you get close to that threshold, they start looking at you. I know it affects employment. I wasn't sure about inheritance, but SSI would definitely be, because I worked with kids on SSI who'd be like, I got to watch my hours. I get SSI, but I only get like 300. And if I work another day, they'll take it all. So you're right. I think assets would affect SSI. You're saying you can inherit whatever you want in SSDI. Okay. So this is why we do these streams. This is a good talk. Anyway, my accident was December 15th, and they cut me a check December 15th. That should be March, close enough. December 16th to March 15th. Then I went back to the doctor, got a note, sent it in. They sent, I think I told you last stream, they sent me an email saying, yes, we'll extend your, because the doctor said August 15th, and the maximum benefit amount is like June 15th. So I'm well covered. A check came in the mail today. However, it was not the rest of the amount. It was only, I'm going to show you this is what it was only. Remember, they paid me December 16th through March 15th. This was March 16th, the day after, only through April 24th. Now, remember, I've been approved through the end of the session, or the end of the benefits period, which would be mid-June. So I said to my brother, I said, why couldn't they just send me a check in the remainder, the amount? And my brother said, well, it's not June yet. In theory, if you suddenly got better and went back to work, so that makes sense. I got to call them on Monday. Of course, it's Saturday into Sunday. I got to wait. I'm going to call them on Monday and clarify, but I'm assuming they're going to send me another check or two checks up through, including the payments to the 15th. So I got some more temper. It was only $1,000 or so, because it was only for like about a month or so, this March 16th. So I got the mid-December to mid-March. Now I've only gotten like a month, March to April, but they did tell me I was approved through June. I thought I really thought I'd just get one big check for the end of June, And if I went back to work, in theory, I'd have to report that and pay it back. No, apparently they only paid me, and it tells you right flat on the statement with the check. It says this payment is from March 16th to April 24th. Even though the email says you've been approved through June 15th, they don't want to overpay. So they don't want to pay beyond the current present day, apparently. So I got to call them, and hopefully I'll get another check or two. So at least I get the full amount of TDI. Complex. My mom is on max SSDI. She inherited a house and over 500,000 in stocks. She still gets 4,000 a month, and if she sells stock to go over 96,000, her payments would be in trouble. She can still see 25,000 a year. I'm trying to understand this. So that's pretty high. $4,000. Did your mother have like a really good job before she went on disability? And can I ask, what is her disability? How'd she get on NeatBucks? And what it's $4,000. Wow, she must have really paid into it. Anyway, so the government gives her a 4K in SSDI. If she sells stock to go over 96,000, her payments. What is okay? So she can't go over 96,000 in stock trades, but she can still see. What do you mean see? She can still make up to 25. That then, in theory, if she sold over 25,000 in stock, that would have put her in jeopardy. I understand why it's 96. You can do up to 96,000 in stock. I understand the 96.25 thing. Oh, she can sell 25,000 in stock and earn up to 96,000 without it affecting her safety net of SSDI. And how'd she get on it? And what's her disability? And what was her line of work beforehand that she gets that, that high an amount? This is why I took to streaming, not to talk to children about whatever nonsense is going on in their group. It's this. It's for people like you. Thank you. Thank you for, redemption. Mild MS and had a Jewish daycare manager job. Okay, so she managed a daycare center. Excuse me, I got to sneeze. Well, can I ask, General, here's why I ask these questions. How long was she the manager there? Like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Because it's not just the job, it's how long you paid into it that affects your calculated benefits rate. I prefer the name David Lee Rothschild. I thought that was cleverer. David Lee Rothschild, Dr. Rothschild. Anyone in the Intermountain States looking to downwinders, it pays $100,000 for anyone in descendants for nuclear testing during the yeah, like what they were saying was also, what was it? John Wayne, the Duke, was in a movie about Genghis Khan, which didn't do very well because how is the cowboy going to play Genghis Khan? And they shot it in like southwestern Utah. Like, what do you call it? Like Zion National Park area. And apparently there had been some nuclear testing in Nevada just like a week earlier. And I guess it was very windy, and a lot of people in that movie died. Like a disproportionate amount of people died from cancer in the coming years because of the downwind. Yes, I agree. But she paid. How long she? Oh, she was in human resources. I misunderstood what you said. So understand this. How does she make $50,000 from the state? I thought SSDI is a federal program. Why is the state paying her? And wouldn't the state payment affect? That would be considered some kind of income. Jewish daycare, as in she had a meme job, kind of like my sister. Corporate. We're talking about corporate communism. She worked for that about quarter of a century, and made great money. Get money her last. She made okay. So after 20 plus years in the career and 10 plus years of high earnings, yes, her calculated benefits rate would be higher than like you're only 24. You might not even be eligible for SSDI. On SSDI, you get paid based off your maximum income over a 10-year period. She was the max. Okay. Well, up to a max. In other words, there might be people who made even more, but once you're over a certain threshold, I think once you're over threshold, whatever that magic number is, even if someone made more than your mother, they'd still be getting the same. It only goes up to once you meet the highest amount. Yes, that's you're saying the max amount is about four. If you made enough, $4,000 a month, which is like 48,000 a year, which is like a decent salary for like a loser to live on. Just doesn't even need the stocks and bonds and all that. Nigerian Rich, no, you're going to be a Turkish millionaire. We'll make you a Turkish millionaire. Remember that Howard Stern, Who Wants to Be a Turkish Millionaire? Because what? A million Turkish, whatever denomination, dinars or whatever, are worth like just like $20 in real money. Well, I don't get it. This complex PTSD Spurg doesn't get it. Even what's his name? Doggo, who applied for it, still hasn't been approved. No, you're actually, you're the bunch of people who don't get it but should. Like I said, if you're not the beneficiary of the corporate communism, you got to do what you can. The alternate route. Yeah, next time I should try, because it's in the oven. I'll try. I was showing before. It's very filling. I fried up. It might look weird. I can't even finish this. I have a couple of them. Got a couple. I fried up, sautéed in olive oil, some onions and some garlic. Then I took these pork loins, split them down the middle, loaded in the fixins, and wrapped them up in bacon and baked it. It took a long time to bake, but it's very delicious and very filling. My God, oh my God, I can't eat another bite. And I felt bad. By the time it took longer to cook than I realized. So maybe I'll try that on the grill sometime. But now it's May. I can't play around anymore. I got to get serious. No, I'm enjoying the talk complex. Now, I have heard, complex, sometimes people who are young and haven't worked can still get on SSDI under their parents' rate. I'm not sure how the process works. This is why we talk, to learn these things. I'm fascinated. Is there like some website? Yeah, I've always thought it's bits and pieces. I go to Social Security. I go to different lawyer websites. I talk to Todd. Maybe I overthink things, but I like to know what's going on. And, when I ask these questions, I'm grilling, no pun intended. When others ask these questions, it's just a nice conversation. When OC asks, it's horrible. But no, because it's like, I've heard sometimes some people can get it. It wouldn't apply to me. I'm in my 40s. Like if you're a teenager, early 20s, you don't have a job history, but you could apply. You can get qualified for SSDI under your parents' rate. But then again, your mother's already collecting. So maybe it's if your parents aren't collecting, you collect their SSDI in place of them or some shit. Yes, Chris. I don't know much about Chris Chan. A couple streams ago, Chris Chan came up. I don't know. I don't want to make a comment either way because I don't know. Just that there was incest involved. So it's under 24. Yeah, I knew there was. I've heard of like 18, 19-year-olds getting on SSDI, even though they've never worked under their parents' rate. Well, no, hold on. Are you saying, complex, you're no longer eligible for the child, what we'll call the child benefit SSDI? So now you've got to pay into the system for 10 years. Well, when did you start working? 14, 15? I mean, you say you need 10 years work experience and maximum amount. So if you feel you've missed because you're still 24, up to 23. So if you've missed the window to get an SSDI under your mother's rate, then you've got to have 10 years of job history under your belt. And is that the last 10 years worked or the last 10 actual calendar years? Like, well, I might go back to work, but I haven't worked now. Let's say I don't work this year. Would they say, okay, for the past 10 years, you had 1 year with no work? Or do they go back to your past 10 work years? I know there's all base periods and all this shit. Yeah, is he out of jail or whatever? Because they were saying, like, just, again, pick on a retard. It's disgusting. And Nostalgia Bash, Chris Chan 100% had sex with his mother. Okay. We know this because of how he behaves when people bring it up. He locks up and stays quiet and looks at the floor like an autistic child. Again, I don't know what happened there. I'm not going to make an opinion either way. I really don't know. But then I think Todd was saying that he had sex with the mother, but the mother herself was touchy-feely. So it might have been one of these, freaky families. Not that it makes it right, but was she like basically fucking him since he was a child? Like this could have been some like whole lifelong incestuous weird shit. I mean, I don't know. I don't know the full story. Okay, so Complex, you are not eligible for SSDI. You have to pay in for 5 because you said it was up to 23. You can somehow get on your mother's plan, but now you're too old for that. You have to pay in for 5 years between 24. So you got You have another. You're the next 6 years cut out for you. If you work another few more years, I can still. Yeah, of course. If you work, you can work more than the base year. But why only 6? Well, actually, I guess what you're saying. 24 to 30 is actually 6 years. You've been working for 4 years now, so you have 4 years in. You need another 6 years to make it a base of 10. I think that's what you're trying to say. If you work another few more years, you can still get SSDI. Yeah, it won't be a lot, but you can make money in markets. Well, why not try to go for SSI like Todd? Get SSI, even though it pays less. You might be eligible for like discounted. You might not with SSDI. You can make more, but you don't get the rent discount. You might be able to get discounts that you don't get. Why not try for SSI? Can you try for SSI now? Well, no, you can't, because if you get on SSI now, you'll never be eligible for SSDI. I understand. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Can I ask, how did you find all this out? You did a lot of good research. Is there a resource you point out, or you just ask around? Because how did you? Because I appreciate the knowledge. How did you know that 20? Because I'd heard about you get an SSDI if you're young, never worked under your parent. I never knew how that worked. I kind of tuned it out because I'm 44 years old. I'm well beyond anything like that. But it's still interesting. How do you find? Because I find that Social Security does not give you a comprehensive, breakdown. They don't want you to know. So I love this. All the formulas. You don't need 10 under 30. How many do you need then? 5 under 30. Okay, so up to 23, you can get SSDI under your parents. Under 30, you need 5 years work. Are you saying over 30, you need 10 years work? So if you're 29, you only need 5 years work. If you're 30, let's say you turn 30. I've been working 5 years, is my 6th year. Last year, I could have gotten SSDI. This year, I got to work another 4 years. Is that basically what you're saying? Once you hit 30, it's got to be 10 years? Again, none of this applies to me at this point. I'm well beyond all this. But yes, fascinating. How, just looked it up. I thought when you look it up, it's actually not Social Security. It's a lot of like lawyers' websites that have more fucking information spelled out than Social Security. An adult child disabled before age 22 can receive benefits on the parent's record. No personal work history needed if the parent was receiving it. But let's say PTSD Spurg was a few years younger, but his mother's still alive and receiving SSDI. Could he also receive the same rate, or does she have to be deceased or off of it for him to receive it at that rate? Because they'll say, well, your mother's already collecting SSDI at her rate. We can't dish it out to you too. Based off after age 21. So if you're 29, 4 years of work get you SSDI if you worked 4 years between 21 and 29. Well, so it's 4 years is the base. They do have base block periods. And why were you saying 10 before? See this is what I enjoy. This is why this is enjoying. I'm enjoying this. Entertaining. I've been walking more. Doesn't hurt as much. I guess that's good. Maybe I'll get up and walk for a beer in a minute. You can watch me walk in and out. The right foot is still incredibly stiff. Thank you for asking. Thank you for wondering about my well-being, everybody. And now I think methylphenidate's kicking in, so now I'm all in like Meat Bucks talk. Share your knowledge. Share what you know. I would ask Doggo, but he's having his lawyer handle everything. No, we were talking about this earlier. Were you paying attention? That's another thing. You can criticize me. Do you even listen? We were talking about corporate communism. They're being favored. We were talking about, I don't blame young virgin men for not wanting to work. I don't blame them in this corporate communistic society we have. Yes. But they're not just coming here. They're being allowed to come here. I was wrong a bit on young SSD. See, don't always trust these chat GP, what do they call them? Or AI things. They sometimes contradict themselves. You can actually find the website, find the literature. Yeah. You're 24, and since you have worked for 2 years after 21. No, I think you're wrong. I think there's whatever a base period is. I thought it was like 4 years. I think you need at least 4 years under your belt. I could be wrong, but no, I don't think if you've only worked 2 years. But you're saying what, because you're under 25, 2 years would count for SSD? Maybe. But then you might be in that weird territory. For most people, SSDI would pay more than SSI. There are some weird territories where SSI is like whatever, 900, whatever. SSDI is actually less. So you can actually get both at the same time. You get SSI, and then the SSDI is just some kind of weird remainder. There are some people who, if your SSDI is less than your SSI, you get SSDI plus the remainder of the SSI. It's like a reversal, which, I mean, again, none of it would apply to me. But if your SSDI rate is lower than the SSI standard, you get SSDI plus the difference to make you up to, which is basically might as well be an SSI itself at that point. So this is the people I stream for. It's good to see you guys. Bash is because we're sharing our lived experiences. You can learn if you want to pay attention. Millennial Tomb, Bob Smith tells us, some of us have tried to work but repeatedly get our asses handed to us by society. Absolutely. Amen. Well, see, if you're in and out, if you're not going to pay attention, see, you have grievances with me. You don't even watch me. What do you have you come in for a minute? Hey, he was being mean there. I saw 2 minutes. Your grievances make no sense to me. You don't even watch me regularly. You're not in any position to have any grievances. But yeah, complex, you say right. Exactly, Bash. I'm incel. I'm not working forever. Yeah. Like I was saying before, like my sister takes advantage. And I don't blame her for taking advantage of it, but she really thinks she worked for it. We have corporate communism, but the beneficiaries think they earned it. And it's bullshit. Government uses corporations to redistribute wealth to who they've chosen to give the wealth to. Yeah, and yeah, I agree with Complex. Bash, you should stop meat shaming and make some fucking money. Well, I don't know what Bash, he was a janitor. And I don't look down on you for being a janitor. I'm glad you're working. I wouldn't make fun of you for being a janitor. But I don't know, now they're saying you don't make any money. I don't know. I agree. Amen. I'm of that belief. But America is supposed to be for white Americans. The Indians, whatever you feel about them, what they had was not America. And now it's like, now we defeated the Indians to be conquered by the Indians or whatever, these brown people. It's like, whatever it's going to be ain't going to be America. America really was a white construct. Absolutely. That's what I was saying. Some guy with the name of, I don't know, Fred Smith couldn't get any job. So he changed his name to Shangupta Patel. And then he got like a bunch of job offers. Because those are the people on the beneficiary list of our corporate communism that we call capitalism. I'm not disagreeing with you. You and I we're agreed 1,000%. If you, and it was nostalgia bash, if you unironically cannot get work, you need to go to an employment. Well, a couple of things. You can get work, but how you're treated at the job, a shit job, and you're still treated like total garbage and mobbed. But also, it's assistance center. Hi. That's like when you go to the grocery store and you see there's the retard doing the bagging, and his what do you call it? His social worker comes in to check, and government, it's employment assistance center. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's good if you're like retarded, and your mom wants you to work a few days, and that's usually what it's. When I work in grocery stores, you'd have these retards they'd bring in, and even other retail jobs. And one time, a lady came up to me and she's, "Hi, do you know where Ted is?" I'm like, "Huh? Who?" "Oh, he's the mentally slow fellow who I'm his social worker." And I'd be like, "Well, I don't think Ted's in today." "Oh, like I'm supposed to go check on him. I don't know his schedule anymore." It's like job employment, and it's for like the mentally retarded to get like bullshit work. And those people are already on benefits. They're just working a few hours here, and it's not even real. And Complex says, "I've tried getting shit jobs the past few months, and I'm getting yeah." I'm glad you like working retail. Good for you. I'm happy for you. How old are you again, Bash? Give it another 20 years, and you see how much you love it. Yeah, either you get it or you don't. And if those people don't get it, that's fine. They can disagree, but they're so. That's what I was talking about before. Like when Dogga was like, "Neat bucks are stupid." Now the guy who's bashing neat bucks so is now like applying for it. Kind of hypocritical. Kind of that. So I wonder if Nostalgia Bash still hasn't reached that point yet. He still wants to believe. He's still in that coping stage where he maybe deep down he realizes, "Holy shit, this is what I am. I should probably start paying attention and learning now." But no, I can't believe it's real. I can't. You suck. Oh, see, you're a poopy head. I think I'm yes. Am I behind in chat again? Oh, see, any opinions on My Little Pony erotic? No, I don't have any opinions on My Little Pony whatsoever. My sister used to like My Little Ponies when she was a little girl. So whenever I hear My Little Pony, I think of my sister, who we were talking about earlier, who has her corporate communism job and thinks she works so hard for it. Right, but I'm saying those retards, they usually have social workers from that employment office or whatever it is, job services that Bash is praising. He doesn't even know what the fucking the office is. Okay. What line of work were you in, Complex? Okay. Cool. You'll learn as you get through your 30s. Well, I don't know. He just went from being a janitor to working in retail. So I don't know how he's going to have 100,000, but okay. Warehouses are also brutal. Oh, my God. I won't cry for yesterday in an ordinary world. Somehow I can survive. And if I have to find my way through the ordinary world, somehow I'll stay alive. Yeah, and my brother's money is going to be gone if I don't do something quick. Yes, that's part of the problem here. We're now in the month of May. I might have to. We got to move out of here, put down a job, just get an application to a place, and then apply for Neat Bucks. I'm not sure yet. We'll apply for Neat Bucks today. But as you know, I was in a well. You know, if you're see, that's another thing, man. In general, if you're not going to watch and pay attention, at least get the. I always say when people criticize, I don't know, a scientific theory, but they haven't even studied the theory, just bits and pieces. It's like at least you can disagree, but at least know what you're disagreeing. You don't even know what you're disagreeing with. That's my grievance with you. And now it's getting harder. I agree. You got plenty of brown people. Complex, can I ask what state you're from or you can get too scared? I'm from New Jersey. And I believe Nostalgia Bash is from Michigan. Can you tell us your state? Or is that too? What state are you from? I'm going to walk and get a beer. I won't put the timer on. You can watch me walk. I don't have my cane. Let me see if I can do this. I'm still walking weird, but it's not as, still sensitive, but not as. Don't be scared. I'm in New Jersey. And even Nostalgia Bash can tell us he's in Michigan. Not asking for a town or an address, just what state you're from. Don't be scared. I won't cry for yesterday in an ordinary world. Somehow I can't see I'm hobbling, but I'm no cane. Ow, I'm gonna trip. Is anyone impressed? Do I get a round of applause? No. I am. I am the second coming of Christ. I have risen. And for you, that's the first coming. So I am your Jewish Messiah. You get to be my first disciple, doggo. Spread the word among the tribe. The Messiah has come. He's in New Jersey. He's here to save you. Very good. Very good. So we talked about what corporate communism, what I call corporate communism. I really liked Todd's point. I want to expand upon that. And no, I feel for you. But don't be scared, Complex. But I understand. So I do find that you're at a certain age now where you haven't worked enough, but maybe you have, maybe you haven't. SSI versus SSDI. Like I said, it's a limit. Well, Doggo can appreciate the conversation. Most people will get bored with this kind of talk, but it's not for them. This is why I do these streams. I'm glad. Is I don't find it as, like you just said, even you made a mistake. You read one thing, then you read something that contradicts. And I think Social Security deliberately makes it convoluted. They don't spell it out for you. I remember my local office used to be able to just walk in. Now you make an appointment to go just to talk to someone. It's like such bullshit. But Nostalgia Bash asks, OC, why are you pouring that beer into a cup when the can is right there? I really like drinking out of these aluminum cups. I've mentioned this many times. I'll tell you why. Several reasons. One, it's not just anything from a can, whether it be beer or soda. It will warm up and go flatter quicker than in one of these. Plus, if I want to go out, right now I can't walk, but like when I be cutting the grass or something, didn't want the neighbors to see me walking around outside with alcohol. Don't want their eyes on me. Don't want the bullshit. So this cup is it could be anything in the cup. Maybe it's beer, but you don't know. I don't like being so blatant. Plus, it keeps it colder longer. It definitely, the aluminum, you notice it's not a glass or plastic cup I'm pouring into. I'm deliberately pouring into this beautiful aluminum. I really love this, not plastic, not glass, not a wooden bowl. I'm pouring it into aluminum specifically. I really like the taste. And you could say, well, the can is aluminum. Yeah, but the can, I guess because it's at least maybe it can breathe better. I don't know what it is. So in other words, both are aluminum. So I'm not trying to get a glass taste or anything else. But you get the aluminum, but it's open, exposed. In the can, you get that. Even with anything in a can, with a soda, with anything, like towards the end, it gets kind of disgusting, especially when it's been open for a while. So I took to. Plus, I can when I feel the beer is getting low, instead of just drinking from a new can, I top it off. Yes, I know. I just said that the can is aluminum too, but this is open. It's breathing. That's right. So I'm not trying to get rid of the. It's not. I'm too good for the aluminum can. The aluminum doesn't bother me. I just find it open like this. It keeps it colder. When you get to the bottom, it's not as disgusting as, I guess, because the can is more enclosed. That's true. You can also, yes, smell if the beer's right there. You see it. It's like, yes, you see, yeah. It's an experience. And do you drink out of a can, or what you put in a paper bag? What do you do? This one is not, but sometimes that happens. They end up double layered. and then I can't pull them apart later. I gotta let them soak. This is not doubled right now, but sometimes I'll double. Oh, but yeah, it's definitely. I think it's a bit thicker than, less enclosed, but a thicker aluminum wall, if you will. Okay, I'm glad no one cares. What a world you live in. So, Complex, what is your plan? You want to work a few more years to have more pay into it more so that you can have a higher rate if you apply for SSDI? Have you been diagnosed with anything? What do you want to apply for? Autism, ADHD, social anxiety, some other thing we don't know about? Because your mom has MS. Maybe you have some other physical. I think physical is easier than mental. So what's your plan? Because you said you're 24. You're 20 years younger than I am. You're 24, and what you want to like work till 30 just to pay more into it? Or no, I'm not saying that you want to. I'm saying the best course of action would be to have a higher rate, or do you want to try to, you think you can still apply for SSDI because you're at a younger age, you don't need the same amount of base years of work, as you're saying? Yeah, but were you, I'll pull up my diagnosis if I can find it. Were you officially diagnosed? In fact, I know I scanned it, but I wonder where my official diagnosis paperwork is. I need all that. When the landlord came and I was in the hospital, my brother scrambled, and it's not his fault, but I got to go through things. If only I had the time. If only I didn't have to work all day and wage slave. All right, let's take a look here. Where's my, if I can find it. Thought I had it here somewhere. Maybe not. Did I delete it by accident? Where the fuck is it? The fuck? Oh, wait. Maybe it's in this. I have a hard time. There's also what I don't think I was diagnosed with this, but one of the reasons I suspected I was a Spurg for about 20 years, as long as you've been alive, executive functioning disorder. Even when I try to stay, organized, it becomes its own, jailer. Was it here somewhere? Here it is. No, wait. Yes. That's what they officially gave me. Autism spectrum disorder. ADHD. This one I'm not sure of. Alcohol use disorder, mild. Post-traumatic stress disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and avoidant. I don't think, avoidant alcohol don't get you anything, but maybe there's extra brownie points, extra, little, supportive checks in the box. But yeah, were you officially diagnosed? Or I can scroll one more in case you can't read this. Okay, you officially have autism, GA, and major depression. I think I have depression too. My shrink is like, even dumb is like, it sounds like you're depressed at the very least. Why can't your fucking shrink see that? So maybe I should dump the shrink. Your therapist thinks you have PTSD. You're going to take a 4-hour test on May 5th. Congratulations. Like Bob Smith recently got his. By all means, go for it. And I went for mine. Why am I not using it? So congratulations and good luck. Good luck, Complex. I understand. Maybe the company can help you. What company? Did I miss something? What company would get you a job or disability? A company? I don't understand. Nostalgia Best says he was, I guess, diagnosed with GA and schizoaffective disorder. Well, that's like I told my shrink, I'm mentally ill. And so I draw on other mentally ill people, but we're not all the same. There's different types of mental illness. So I'm a Spurg, bringing in schizophrenics, borderlines, and people who are borderline, people who are delusional. So it's like, they can function around normies. They can keep their crazy in when they're around the normies. I come along, uncanny valley, a little bit spurred throws them off, and their craziness comes out. I unintentionally bring out their own crazy. But what is schizoaffective disorder, and how does it affect you? You have mild alcohol use. So see that one of all of them, that's the one I find the most to be bullshit. Alcohol disorder. Me. Do I seem like I have a fucking drinking problem, you people? Should open this one. Do I have a drinking problem? You're right. It's all bullshit. Like, what's his name? Destroyed by Voice. It's all bullshit. You're right. I don't have an alcohol problem, so this must all be bullshit. Well, you didn't answer my question, Complex. What is this company that's going to get you a job or disability? I don't understand. And what's Cluster C? I've heard of Cluster B. What the hell is Cluster C? Yes. With the PTSD, it's like it's not just being a spurg, one trauma and then another trauma. All these, it's like a snowball effect. Now you're haunted by all this bullshit atop your pre-existing mental problems. Exactly. Okay. Yours is autism, maybe. Oh, well, they only gave you one diagnosis. They didn't diagnose for they didn't test for multiple things, Bob. I don't know what ALC disorder is, but I'm in behind in chat. You didn't answer my question. What company were you talking about? Well, Doggo, I thought you were really hooked on that kratom stuff. Weren't you weren't you? Wasn't that you? You were. People were saying they were worried about you using a lot of kratom. You have a kratom addiction because of the pain with your legs and stuff. You might get disability before because yours isn't even mental. I mean, what you're applying for is a physical disability. I don't think I can get that because they tell me I'll be healed within a year. A physical disability has to last a year to life. So I don't think I can go the physical route. But you have a physical, so you might have a better case. Mental health, private mental health company, and I'm hoping they can help with jobs or with Gibbs or job seeking. Okay. Like this company you go to, they have a therapist and they also have like testers or private mental health company. I got damn lucky. I called a bunch of places, right? And most places didn't take the. I was working at a grocery store. I was full time technically, so I had insurance there. It was shit insurance. A lot of places I called were like, "We don't diagnose adults." Called the place close to home, and they said, "We do diagnose adults, but we don't take your insurance. So you can pay us $1,000 for a general assessment, or pay us $5,000 for a full assessment, and maybe you'll have it, maybe you won't." And I said, "I'm not paying for like a fucking used car." I got damn lucky. I went like the last call. I guess persistence. The last call I made was this lady, and I said, "You take my insurance." It was for the Union grocery store, and she said, "Yes, I do." I said, "Really?" I said, "Do you test adults for autism?" She says, "Yes." I said, "Great." And it was a series of several appointments. I had to go see her several times, take multiple tests, fill out questionnaires, and I had to wait a month for my official diagnosis. I just got damn lucky. And I even said, we had a call. My brother works at a different grocery store. He's got insurance through them. I'm not sure if she takes that grocery union's insurance plan. We should call just to see, because if she'll take it, he get at least, because even if you don't get the diagnosis, at least you're not paying thousands of dollars for a crapshoot. I'm like, yeah. So most places wouldn't even test adults for autism. Yeah, they said the same thing. They wanted between 1,000 to 5,000. I'm like, and you might even get the diagnosis. I'm like, are you fucking nuts? Doggo says he uses kratom, but he's not heavily addicted. Yeah, all addicts say that. We're worried about you. Now that you've lost your job and you're more depressed. Uh-oh. Should we all be sending our thoughts and prayers? The Messiah of the pointy-hatted people, I must come and pray over you and save you. I'll slap you in the back and you will walk again. Okay, enough of that. 70H. Doggo, that's what you were going on about the last time. 70H. Uh-oh. I think Doggo might be more addicted than he realizes. You don't know you don't know you have a problem. So they have to give these people interventions. They don't even realize how fucked, some of them know but don't want to face their problems. Others don't even realize how fucked up, maybe they don't realize just how destructive their behavior is and how fucked up they are until it's pointed out to them. Maybe I'll kill this soon. Oh, you're using the bathroom was hard to respond. You got to take a bath now. You'd be surprised how many people watch me while taking baths. It's a very common. A lot of people say, "Oh man, if I want to get naked and lay in a tub, I want to hear your beautiful voice and see your face." OC. We've got a lot of people who like to schedule their baths around my streams. It's a very common thing here, apparently. So I think he'd rather say he was shitting rather than admit he was in the bath. He's a little embarrassed. It's okay. A lot of people take baths. You don't want to drop the phone in the tub. I get it. It's okay. Very common for people to take baths while watching me. We've established this. Many people are in the bath. No, we had a good talk about Neatbucks. I'll put a link, but I don't take it. We had a good talk about Neatbucks. I like talking to this complex. I'm glad. You're lucky. You're 20 years younger than me. You have resources that I didn't have when I was your age. When I was 24 years old, which was 20 years ago, the internet existed, but limited information. I was just learning about Asperger's at that time. There was none of this. So I really had no one to look up to. I think that's part of the reason why Todd was such a hero, because he had a great philosophy, and there really been no one for our generation to talk about these things. You at least have people to admire, and you realize earlier on, holy shit, things are going wrong. At least I have older people who've been there, paid their dues a generation before to get some wisdom from. So I like that much, that part. Yeah, it's like if you and Seymour can type while, having relations, I don't see why using the bathroom should be more of a challenge. I was flattered that one time you were all like, well, OC, I think that maybe the problem with, and then I hear Seymour, oh, see, I was actually flattered at that. That was, I was glad I was, some people put on music. I was glad I could be part of your joyous moment, and hearing Seymour call my name out in ecstasy. That's really was, so even though you weren't hiding it as well as you thought you were, it was still flattering. Yeah, this damn thing. It's bigger. It has more, but it wasn't fully charged. But I still got 35%. The other one's dying. I mean, it's losing its juice. Hey, we went from Neatbucks talk. We talked about Todd. Now we're talking about bathrooms. Is someone lurking? See, that's the problem with YouTube. I can't always see everyone. Should I go to top chat, live chat? I forget which one I'm supposed to be in. But I'm on StreamYard, so StreamYard doesn't always post everything. So if someone has something to say, they can say it. I don't care. But where'd Pony Boy go? And I wanted to come on and just do some. I should be doing things. It's like a distraction. When I take that pill, that methylphenidate pill, which they only give me because I'm diagnosed ADHD. I had to beg. It's a controlled substance. I had to beg with the doctor to give me methylphenidate. It's only 30 pills for a month, and I had to beg to show them my diagnosis. I have ADHD. They really did not. This is some stupid shit clinic I go to. They really didn't want to give it out, but it does make me focused. It takes my mind off all my anxiety and gets things done. But I have to be focused on that. If I'm focused on stream, I might just end up streaming for all these hours instead of, if I take the pill when I'm in paperwork mode. They're always lurking. Some of us create content. Others need to feed off of content. I'm a creator. I am an artist. And it's par for the course. Some people will just feed and feast. That's the role you play when you become a YouTube streamer, no matter how big or how small. Now, you can't take this complex. You can't take SSRI or dopamine meds like Adderall. You get horrible anxiety on speed meds. SSRI. Well, yeah, I don't. SSRIs. What's that? What it stands for? Rebuke inhibitor. I tried one called bupropion. Didn't like it. Made me feel wired, nervous, and I would take a piss. I think my bladder was empty, and I'd feel drips. I'm like, what the fuck? I never liked bupropion. I don't like SSRIs. I don't think is methylphenidate an SSRI. I don't even know what I'm taking, but it seems to work. And like we said, with drugs, it's not one size fits all. You might take a drug and it's like wondrous for you. You recommend it to your friend. He takes it and he becomes a basket case. It's not always one size fits all with body chemistry. Although I gave my brother a Prozac, fluoxetine the other night. People say he's suicidal. I gave him one, and he took it. He told me, like, you know, and he got up to take a piss. He felt out of it. He was really tired, but he had all these intense dreams. So it definitely, different things affect different people differently. As master of the English language, artist of the spoken world, and the second coming of Christ, aka the first coming for the funny hats, your Messiah has come. Tell the sons and daughters of Israel, praise my name from the rooftops. Yeah, I tried that. I didn't like that either. I like a bag full of like rejected meds. I still have the pills. Wellbutrin, whatever. There was another name for that one. Yes, I tried that. I think bupropion is Wellbutrin. Yes, bupropion is Wellbutrin, right? Adderall. I'm not sure. Is methylphenidate Adderall? I thought methylphenidate was basically, or considered as basically a watered down Ritalin. Is that the same as Adderall? Or is one an antipsychotic? Don't take antipsychotics. Yeah, I didn't like those. They made you. You're absolutely correct. When women hate you, and yes, men hate other men. So yeah, alone and fucked. Well, you've got an acquaintance in me. How's that sound? Praise be. You made songs pop in my head. Glory be. I heard my mama cry. I heard her pray the night Chicago died. Brother, what a night the people saw. Brother, what a fight the people saw. Glory be. Heat of a summer night in the land of the dollar bill, when the town of Chicago died, and they talk about it still. When a man named Al Capone tried to make that town his own, and he brought his gang to war with the forces of the law. I heard my mama cry, heard her pray the night Chicago died. Brother, what a night the people saw. Brother, what a fight. Glory be. Do you watch TV? I don't really watch Netflix, or I don't have Hulu. I think I have Netflix with but Netflix is kind of died. It's got a lot of shit on it now, I think. Not really. I just watch regular TV. I like to watch Jeopardy. I'll watch the news. If I'm just vegging, I'll just watch some silly program about they're hunting ghosts or UFOs or Bigfoot. What else? Yeah, the news, Jeopardy, some mindless fluff. I haven't really watched a show in a long, long time. And the streaming shows. Now I'm going to go on methylphenidate. Yeah, they're showing, like, sometimes you get these marathons. I'll just veg out to like Law and Order or Impractical Jokers or one of those shows. That's basically what I watch. But I still like the art of channel surfing. Like with on demand, you got to know what you want to watch. Sometimes I'll be flipping through the channel. I'm like, oh, an old episode of The Twilight Zone. I would not have gone out of my way to watch this. Even if I could on demand it, I wouldn't have bothered. But it happens to be on. Just flipping the channels. Haven't seen this one in a long time. I like this one. How to Serve Man. It's a cookbook. What the hell? So I still like, sometimes I like not having to pick what I'm watching. Sometimes I like to see what's out there, what's on. A lot of shit, but good episode. Married with Children. Oh, this one, yes. Where him and Steve go to that, lingerie shop in Wisconsin. Oh, I haven't said, like, I could have on demanded it, but I wouldn't have thought to. It's good to sometimes just come across, old school cable, just come across something random that I wouldn't have thought to watch otherwise, but it's on. I'm like, I can watch this. Cool. Did you call it? You called it cable in Australia? I thought cable was an American term and Canadian term, North American. I thought cable was. Did you guys call it cable? That's interesting. Foxtel. Right? It's the same concept. Okay. Well, I really enjoy talking to Complex PTSD Spurg. Maybe we can talk more about Neat Bucks. I'll start applying. I'm in this rock and a hard place. If the landlord said you can live for another 2 years and my brother had plenty of money, I'd go for it. But I'm like, now I might have to get a job on paper to apply to a place to live. So I don't know. And how much improvement? I mean, I'm hopeful. You saw me hobble for the beer. I'm improving, but it's still, I'm going to be able to lift and lug or deliver auto parts or whatever. It's like I'm going to be able to physically move to hold a job in the coming months. Now I'm getting bored. Now I'll talk to Pony Boy. I want to talk about Todd. I want to talk Neat Bucks. I want to talk my TDI was extended, but they only paid me from, what was it, March 11th? Because they originally paid me December 16th, the day after the accident, December 16th through March 10th. Now it's March 11th. I got to check March 11th through April 24th. And they told me in the email I was approved through June 15th, but I guess they don't want to pay me beforehand. So temp Neat Bucks. And my brother was like, I mentioned this other stream. I was like, why don't you use this skill at getting temporary Neat Bucks and apply it to real Neat Bucks? But you also need to get a job so we can put it on papers and get out of here. Because I'm like, yeah. Like I said, this was delicious. This pork loin stuffed with sauteed garlic and onions. I sprinkled on my spice melange, my salt, pepper, oregano. I'm sorry. Yeah, salt, pepper, oregano, garlic powder, onion powder, spice melange. And, split the loin, stuff it with the sauteed crap, and then wrap it in bacon. And it just took forever to bake. It wasn't cooking. But now once it's fucking delicious, I couldn't eat. I'm full. Oh my God. So I'm just putting that out there for anyone who wants to. This maybe I don't want to. There are things I should be doing, and maybe this is my distraction for not getting to it. So that's on me. It's easier to just sit here and talk to myself. The wire's stuck on something. I'm thinking the reason this microphone cuts out, it's the wire. And I think I ran the wire over with the wheelchair wheel. I think that's what I think I fucked up the wire. I must have run it over because sometimes it's tangled. That's why when I hit it the wrong way, it mutes. I think yeah. Okay. Corporate communism, the Todd video, Neat Bucks talk with Complex, and Doggo by extension. I'm the second coming and the first coming for the pointy hats. All praise be to me. They told me I was approved for TDI. I want to show this one more time. I was approved through the maximum till June 15th. And it said, if you do go back to work earlier, you got to tell us. So I just thought they'd give me one payout. But no, they only paid me for, another installment. I've still got the late April through mid-June payments to receive. I got to call them, but of course it's now this was Saturday into Sunday. So I got to wait another fucking day just to make that damn call. A bunch of other shit. A lot of stuff I got to do is I want to apply to the DMV. When I did go to the doctor, I had them fill out the DMV form. I want to get one of those handicap placards. But my car, of course, is totaled. I got the once a year you got to pay registration. The insurance is long gone. Once a year I got to pay registration, and I think the registration came in like a few weeks ago. I didn't even bother opening it because I'm not going to register that damn car. So what do I put down? Do I put down my brother's car as the car? Because you need like a valid insured car on the road. It could be someone else's, like if you're crippled and can't. So I'm like, but hopefully I can get I don't know how long it's going to take. The DMV can send me one of those handicap things. It should be good for 3 years. So if I do improve, I can still have a handicap retard placard. I expect a congratulations. Like we were talking about earlier about corporate communism. If, I'm not on the special list, like, my blonde-haired, blue-eyed sister or these brown-skinned street shitters, then, okay, I'm not going to be on that list. I'm not going to receive, no matter how hard I work or don't work, I'm not going to receive all that, redistributed wealth. So I got to find alternate means to get some scraps of wealth, because working, like Todd was saying, trying to like live that and be normal, it's not going to work. It's not. Either it's going to work or it's not going to. So that's about all I can say. Hold on a minute. Okay, yes. There's a couple other things. All right. I was looking at I made up a list of shit I got to do come Monday. These are all like clerical things and this was last night. Like I said, I was up all night into the early morning, like in paperwork mode. I've got to first call the county because I think they stiffed me on a SNAP payment. They're supposed to pay me for like late February. I don't think they ever did. So call them and say, where is it? But more importantly, you remember that auto parts job, that never-ending disaster of an auto parts job. And part of the reason I stream is basically for myself. This is like my old micro cassette recorder. I'm talking my thoughts out loud. Saying it here helps me remember. Auto parts job, tall fag, piece of shit. I was nice with him. He was still a complete jackass. Boss never liked me. Dude threatens to break my jaw in front of everybody. Everybody's shocked except the boss, who realizes something is wrong and blames me. I called the police just to have a third-party report. They couldn't have been any less interested. I said, I need a third-party report. I called a bunch of lawyers, just like with my diagnosis. I finally called one lawyer, just like one neurologist agreed to take me. One lawyer agreed to take the case, and I got 13 grand out of it. Cool. That's all been settled. Apparently, I was auto-enrolled in some stupid 401k program. I didn't choose it. I was just auto-enrolled automatically. I guess all employees. I got another every like 3 months quarterly. And if you've ever been in a 401k, if you ever had one of these, I've had them before. I've had them at different grocery stores I've worked at. Union jobs usually give you the option to be in a 401k. Or actually, one union job I had was great. You're automatically in a 401k, but it doesn't come out of your paycheck. It comes out, I guess, you pay your union dues, your $8 per check, and a portion of that goes into this thing. So I remember when I was fired from one of these jobs, I cashed out. It was a few $1,000s. It was nice. And I hadn't paid a penny into it, really, other than union dues, you got to pay anyway. But this stupid job apparently auto-enrolled me. It was a couple of years back. And they were taking out small pittances per paycheck. So now I've got like $300 like tied up. So I got to call them on Monday and say, just cancel the damn thing, close it out, cut me a check. And yes, they'll keep, when you close these out, whenever you close it out prematurely, instead of rolling it over, When you close them out prematurely, you get taxed upon. There's a fee, there's a closing fee and a auto tax, instant fine, and then I'll have to pay income tax on it next tax season. But I don't care. A couple $100 in my pocket is better than this stupid just sitting in an account that I didn't create. So, yes, and that money went fast, but thank God. I called so many lawyers. They all said, no, no, no. A couple said, if you pay us $1,000, we'll write a nasty note. Getting diagnosed with autism and winning this lawsuit were comparable. Every time I had to call, I had to relive my traumatic story. By the grace of God, I got the last lawyer I called like 13 lawyers. Most said no. A couple said, well, if you pay us, we can try. No guarantee. Only one said, we'll take this case on contingency. And the woman who took the case, she wasn't even a senior partner. She was like a lesser junior partner. And she ended up leaving the firm. And the main guy who took over was not. I asked him flat. I said, would you have taken this case? And he didn't want to answer. I said, be honest. He goes, probably not. But he was stuck with it because thank God this one bish, maybe she got fired because she took it, but it ultimately, because there's no money in this. We don't want to chase it. It's a waste of our time, even though you were wronged. But I got 13 grand from the company. Of course, I had to pay taxes. Half of it was considered wages. The other half was considered like compensation, 1099 versus W-2 for those in America. And of course, the lawyer kept like 45%. I got my 55% was the 13 grand. You can do the math. So we got like probably, I don't know, whatever we got out of them. I got 13 grand in the end. It was nice, but the fact that I'm even in a position where I have to do this, it's like, ugh. But this isn't lawyer related. Unrelated. It was a 401k plan, which I had no interest in. I guess everyone who works there is auto enrolled, and now I've got a few $100 tied up in perpetuity. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. Sometimes I'm like, just give me the damn money. Whatever, just even $100 is better than nothing at this point. Okay, so I got to call them and say cancel it, close it out, send me a check. This isn't the first time. Not the first time I've been on temporary bucks. Not the first time I've had to go through lawyers. Not the first time I've had to close at a 401k. This is the life of a wagey, a shit wagey. And now we're getting repetitive. Yes, Todd is God. Yes, Doggo. Thank you, Doggo. But I'm your Messiah, right? I thought I was your Messiah. Don't take this the wrong way. This is not an insult, Complex. You sound like you come from a moneyed family. I said it because, first of all, you just told me you're 24. You don't have much work experience. How did you have $7K in a 401k? How did you have that much money? You don't have enough work experience to apply for SSDI, but somehow you had $7,000 in a 401k. And what 401k? What job did you have that would provide you with a 401k? I don't understand. And why would you take a loan against it? Was this something your parents set up for you? Because based upon what you just told me, how the hell you have a 401k with $7,000 in it when you just said you have hardly any work experience? I don't understand. I'm not knocking you. I'm just confused. With your lack of experience, work experience, to even apply for SSDI, did you have a really good job for a couple of years? I mean, if you can hold a really good job like that for a few more years and then get a really high SSDI rate, I would do that, because how do you have $7,000 in a 401k? I don't understand. OC is the Messiah, saith Doggo. Damn straight. You're my prophet. Shout it from the rooftops in Los Angeles. Go down to the street corner. Start yelling. Okay, so your family has money. You had $7,000 because your job put in $4,000. 18 months. That must have been a pretty good. Can I ask what the job was? That's a pretty high paying job. If they matched up to 4,000, that's a lot. I can tell you, retail jobs, grocery store jobs, after like 3 years, you might have a few thousand. And with mine, I think I worked at several different grocery stores. It was the same union. It was the union's 401k, and I never had thousands of dollars, like $2-3 grand tops. Can I ask what the job was? So it's like you didn't really even need to get SSDI because it sounds like you come from money. You have 32,000 in stocks. Okay. A shit part-time job. Well, it sounds like it was paid way more than minimum wage. I mean, you had 7,000 after 18. So after a year and a half, you had 7,000 in your 401k, 4,000 paid by the company. What kind of job was it? I'm curious. Couldn't have been a retail job unless you were a manager. That's I'm happy for you, but that's wow. So all these people who don't deserve neat bucks, Zenesis, Doggo, even Complex, no offense. You guys get them, but I'm like scraping. I deserve more than others. I am owed. Not that I'm not happy for you or encourage you. I'm just saying, like, wow. I don't even have that luxury option. And don't take that as an attack. I'm just curious. Like, no job I've had would have given me 4,000 in a 401k in a year and a half. I'm amazed. Was it a union job? Getting quiet. Maybe I should just kill it. But it's like, I don't want. I thought I'd be more like with taking the pill. I'd be more. Let's get down to. Let's do it. But I'm like, all this shit around me. I'd rather just retreat, stay in my little ball, and talk to weirdos as an excuse. I mean weirdos affectionately. Well, that's okay. Sometimes some of my best streams, Doggo, are when it's only a handful of people. I really enjoyed talking to Complex. We had some interesting points, and Bob Smith chimed in, so it was good. Then it sort of fizzled out. I'm like, well, if right now we're jumping, but I wanted to end it, I would just end it. I don't want to end it yet. It's more about me. I don't want to end this yet. I'm not ready to get down to work. I want to. So I don't mind a small audience as long as it's active. But it's like I hate just sitting here. But then at the same time, as soon as I end this, I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna feel like as soon as it's over, well, I got to get down to work. I can't sit around and twiddle my thumbs anymore. This is my excuse to twiddle my thumbs. You stream sometimes. I got you into streaming. You know how it is. Sometimes it's a good excuse. Now, listen, I know you're scared. I'm not asking for like the exact address. Or was it a retail job? Was it a factory job? Was it an office job? Can you give us like a general? Because just a normal job. What the fuck does that mean? What my sister with her corporate communism considers a normal job is not what I consider a normal job. So what the fuck is a normal job? Yeah, I'm just saying, like what general, this is like a white collar office. Well, it's Saturday night. People are out partying, Doggo. You and I can't because we can't walk anywhere. Otherwise, we'd be, remember we talked, I'd come to the club in Los Angeles. We go dancing together. Yeah, we can't right now. We're in too much, leg pain. But, everyone else, the people who are healthy, both in body and in mind, they're out there, living up their Saturday nights, whereas all we can do is sit here on our asses dreaming about what it's like to dance. Maybe one day. Okay, it was okay. That's what I'm asking. Okay, so it was a warehouse job. I'm not asking. Don't people get paranoid? I'm not asking the name of the company. I'm just asking the type of work. If you had said it was a teaching job, or it was a white collar office job, or it was a retail job, that like dictates where things go. All right, so it was a big shipping company. Can I ask, was it unionized? Was there a union? Is my question. Was it unionized? Oh yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't go for it either. But thank you. I have paid my dues. Oh my God. Thank you. Everyone tells me I'm such a Nazi. I'm a Nazi. Well, not a union. It was pretty good that the company, within just a year and a half, putting 4 to your 3. It's pretty good. Can I ask, why didn't you? Did you take? I'm going to ask you this then. Did you take the loan before you left the job? Were you first? Did you quit or were you fired? Quit or fired? Quit or fired? And did you take this loan out before or after the job ended? Before or after? Quit or fired, loan against the 401k before or after the job ended. Minor alcohol abuse disorder. Pfft. Malarkey. Rubbish. Hogwash. No, I'm interested. I'm curious. Before or after, and were you fired or quit? I'd like to hear an answer to this. This is fascinating. Because I'll start telling you. You want? I don't want to feed you information. What I would say is, if I were fired, I'd apply for unemployment, and I would simply cash out the 401k, never take a loan against it. Which is why I'm asking: did you take the loan before or after you left the job, and were you fired, or you just couldn't handle it anymore? Because people say I'm lazy. No, I try to be a hard worker to compensate for all my social deficits. And what ends up happening is they appreciate my hard work. They just crack the whip harder. They expect me to do even more work, but they still hate me. It doesn't get me any compensation, any social bonus points. And then I get fired. Eventually, they find some reason to get rid of me. So if it were me, I'd have been fired and I'd collect unemployment and I would just cash out the 401k entirely. But I don't know. In your situation, did you quit? Did you take this? I wouldn't take a loan out against, especially because in my case, if I were fired, I'd say I'm never going back to that fucking job again. And if I do, fuck it. I'll start a new 401k then. Fuck it. So I'd cash out the 401k, whatever they take out, who cares? And I'd collect unemployment. So I am curious what your answer is, because your story fascinates me. You're one of the people that I actually stream for. After all this riffraff, you're one of the people I'm trying to speak to. You seem genuine, just scared, but don't be complex. I do want to hear his answer. Were you avoiding me? Damn. There we go. I'll let that sit for a moment. No, because I'm not trying. I really like to hear an answer to this question. That's why I don't want to kill it just yet. I want to hear the answer. Maybe he's back in the bathroom, still in the bathtub or something. Maybe he's toweling off. Now he seems to do rapid fire and then goes quiet. Rapid fire and then, like he gives us a bunch, and then it's like tune in next week. Oh my God, don't do that to us. Don't play us that way. Oh, and remind me, talking about playing, a couple things. I want to do grill streams again before we leave. I'd like to do either a Windows 95 old computer Civ 2 game or a Nintendo Sega Genesis game. I would do that on my phone. I'd stream from my phone, set up like a stand with my brother. Remind me because I'll forget. And I want to, not yet, we're not there yet, but I want to ask you guys about how do you play all these old retro games without having to buy all the consoles? So I'd like to ideally do at least one old video game stream, Nintendo, Sega, Windows 95, if I remember. The best laid schemes of mice and men. And where the hell is complex? Answer the damn fucking question about the. I don't want to get spooked and think, oh no, I've said too much. Oh no, you haven't. We don't know where you worked. We don't give a shit. What we're saying is, this company, were you fired or you quit? Did you take out the loan before or after? I'm curious what the thought process was, because I understand if you took a loan out against it before you lost the job because you thought you'd be there. Oh, I'm sorry. I was also like browsing other shit. Sorry, what's going on? Yeah, he still hasn't gotten there. Maybe Todd will see this and comment with what he uses to play old school. Yeah. Well, I don't know if he agrees or disagrees, but he was talking about earlier in his video about capitalism sounds like a good idea, but I think what we call capitalism is really it's a subversive form of communism where wealth is redistributed by the government through corporations to the people who are chosen to be recipients, and those people think they worked hard for it. That's what I think. Where did you go? I felt insulted, man. I was invested in your story, Complex, and you bailed on me, man. I didn't want. I'm like, no. Did you hear my question? I like an answer. I'm curious. Do you have to repeat that? No, I would like to know. I'm not. It's like, were you fired? Were you quit? I'd like to hear that. Did you take the loan out before or after? Fired or quit? Loan against the 401k before or after you left the job? The shipping company. Were you fired from that job or did you quit? Were you fired or did you quit? And when did you take out the loan against the 401k? Before or after you lost the job? I'm curious. This is stuff that fascinates me. This is stuff that's worth talking about. You want to talk My Little Ponies and Donda again? I mean, okay, so you quit the job because you were going insane and screaming at work. So you were going nuts at work. Okay, so you quit. Okay, so you did not get fired. So no unemployment. I was going to say, if you were fired, first thing I would do is apply for unemployment. So you quit. When did you take out the loan against the 401k? Okay. Wait, this makes no sense. Wait, I'm confused here. You resigned. You took out the loan before you lost the. It seems contradictory. If you resign, that basically means you quit. So you quit. You took out a loan right before you lost the job. You resigned from the job. I'm confused. You quit the job. You took out the loan before or after you quit. Okay, so when you took out the loan, you were planning to quit, or did you? When you took out that loan a few weeks earlier, were you planning to quit, or did you not know it was going to get there yet? You still thought you'd be. That's what I'm curious about. You took out the loan. You were still employed there. You were still employed there. Did you expect to be employed there, or you knew you'd be leaving? I mean, I want to know. You knew you'd be leaving, so you said, "Let me take out a loan because I know I'm going to be leaving," or did you take out the loan thinking, "Well, I'll be here for a while"? Well, you say I lost the job because mentally ill. Yeah, I understand. But in your case, you weren't fired or they didn't. It wasn't like a mutual, you got to go. It sounds like you excused yourself. Right. I understand the burnout. I understand. That's not what I'm asking. But ultimately, they didn't fire you or force you out. You quit. Okay. Weren't planning to quit. I was in the middle of my explosion. So when you took out the loan 2 weeks earlier, you did not know you'd be quitting within 2 weeks. I think you're answering the question, but I want to hear it. When you took out the loan, you didn't think, fuck this, 2 weeks from now I'm out of here. You actually thought you were going to be there for a while. Well, okay, so that's my question. So when you took out the loan, you figured you'd be able to pay it back because you'd still be working there and you'd be able to pay back into the 401k. So that was my ultimate question. When you took out the loan, you were still anticipating you'd be paying back into it. You didn't foresee that in a mere 2 weeks, you'd be gone. You figured you'd be there for a while. I'm assuming if you were at a position where you felt comfortable taking out a loan against the 401k without closing the 401k, I feel like Susie Orman now. You felt that you were going to be with the company longer, and as it turns out, you only lasted another 2 weeks. Is that a correct synopsis? Now, I'm not asking about now. Now you remind me of Lone Hiker. I can't tell you this. I'm not talking about now. What I'm saying is at the time, because that's what I was trying to understand. Okay, now it makes sense. Because my first question was, why would you take out a loan against the 401k of a job you're quitting? You're saying you did not know you'd be gone. That's okay. That now it makes more sense. Okay, so even though it was only 2 weeks later you left, you didn't know you were leaving. You thought you'd be there longer. Because otherwise, it makes no sense what you did. I was going to ask you what your thought process was. Okay. Right. That's what's important to the story. Even if it was a mere 2 weeks, you didn't know. Okay, now it makes sense. Because otherwise, I'm like, this story is weird. But okay, now okay. Now, in a broader sense, even though you didn't know you were leaving, did you take out, I'm going to ask you, did you take out the loan because of things that were going on and like what led to the loan and what led to quitting, even though they were unrelated, even though they weren't directly correlated? Was it all part of a process in your life at that time? Let me take out a loan against the 401k. I'm still going to work here. I'm going to take out that loan. And like 2 weeks later, I got to quit. Like, in other words, was something going on at that time? Was this all part of some like general burnout or general mania? Because I'm glad you have enough common sense to say, if I'm going to take out a loan against a 401k, I'm not going to do it if I'm going to quit the job tomorrow. So at least you have that common sense. Because so if you weren't planning, that's great. But still, in a broader sense, was it all part of some like greater movement in your life? Right, you're on the verge of getting fired. Oh. Well, they might not hire you, but well, it depends. In my experience, I've gone back to shit jobs I've had before, and it depends. If any of the old managers remember you, they won't rehire you. If everyone else has moved on or quit or been sent to somewhere else, then yeah, they'll just hire you like nothing. There's no like, if there is a permanent record, no one checks it. You can get rehired if no one speaks out against you. But if you try to get rehired and you still got like, long-term people who remember you, they'll speak out against you. So if in 1 year's time, most of the big players are gone, you can reapply there. If in 10 years' time, you still got career people there who remember you, I guess just hope that their memory is faded. Yeah, it's like, wow, you're lucky. You come from a family that taught you about these things. My peasant retard father, who wanted to be part of high society but couldn't pull it off, had no idea. Oh, my God. So you're lucky you come from a family with all this stocks and this and that. Wow. Well, what do you mean with you'll go back in 6 months? Well, how long has it been since, when did this all happen? Was this your most recent job, and when did you leave it? You're saying after 6 months you can come back. Okay. When is the 6 month mark? And what does this mean? You'll go back with government disability help. You'll be on SSDI and you work under the substantial gainful activity, whatever it is, SG, whatever the fuck it's called. You'll earn under the threshold, or you mean some kind of other like local state or county assistance where some back to work program? I mean, what do you mean by government disability help? Yeah, I mean, what do we mean? Which government? Local, county, state, fed, and what kind of help from this government? Okay. Mid-February, most recent job. Let's clarify. It's a bit ambiguous. The shipping job. You're talking about the shipping job? Is this the one you quit, or was this shipping job your second to last or third to last job? We don't know. So mid-February was your most recent. Work 1 day with an agency, but they overhired and kept sending me. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the shipping job. How long has it been since you walked out on the shipping job? Right. I understand. That makes sense. So it can kind of work against you too. Sometimes, like, maybe I should have, at my last job, I should have disclosed I was a spurg, but I didn't for several reasons. One, I didn't think to. Two, I was afraid at the time they might try to get rid of me. Maybe I should have, maybe when they went to fire me, I should say, okay, but just so you know, I'm a spurg. I didn't even think to do that. I was in the hospital when they fired me. I didn't even think of playing. I always forget to play the spurg card. Because there is that. You're not supposed to, it was ingrained to me. You don't want to like piss the managers off, even though I always do. You don't want to intentionally piss them off. I unintentionally piss them off, but you don't want to make it seem like you can't do the job. That's what my parents taught me, and it apparently was bad advice. Your parents taught you how to trade stock. They try to play the stock market. So I had to take out a loan against my 401k just in case, because the market, I thought I was going to lose a share in the market. Well, I envy the 24-year-old who's in a position. I was never in this position. I don't think I could ever be in this position. Well, no, you just told us your most recent job, you only worked one day. So your most recent job was one day in February with an agency that overhired. So that means your shipping job was your penultimate job. Penultimate, second to last. If I understand correctly, if you worked there for 18 months and had a 401k, that's not the same as the February job where you worked one day because the agency overhired. So the shipping job was the penultimate job. Right, 3 months since you left that one day job. I'm talking about the shipping job. When did you leave the shipping job? Well, that's good. See, I always thought, you're talking about the American Disability Act. I always thought, like with me, at the state level, I can get handicap placard from the doctor's note, but that's all the state of New Jersey. I thought the federal government has to recognize you as disabled before you're eligible for disabled housing and disabled services. You can't just declare yourself disabled. It's like you're horribly burned. You're disabled, but you're not recognized as such on paper until Social Security said. So I always thought you need that official diagnosis. It's basically legalese, bureaucracy. So I don't know how that act can help you. Well, you got the diagnosis, but still, don't you officially be recognized as disabled by the federal body? Well, fine. Your parents, you had helpful family. Other than my parents were pieces of shit, and the rest of my family just a bunch of fucking white trash garbage peasants who could teach me nothing. Wait, now I'm confused. You worked one day in April at the shipping job. You just told me you worked one day in February at some job that you were overhired for. What job was that? When did you quit the shipping job? Like 18 months. How long ago was the shipping job? My state is a right to work red state. What does that mean, right to work? I should look these terms up. The feds give them money. I'm not getting more rope from a job. Well, you just said the Americans with Disabilities Act can help you, even though you're not recognized disabled by the federal government, Social Security. Now you're saying the opposite. Your state can't help you because it's a red state. Okay, you left the shipping job in February. Here you said mid-February, most recent job, worked one day with an agent. So you're talking about you got to be more specific. Mid-February was when you say most recent job, you're talking about the shipping job. You worked one day with an agency job at something else in April. What can I ask? What was that? Was it like a temp agency or like a mental health agency? What was this agency? And what was this one day job where they overhired? Yes, all states hate ugly autistic males. It's just the bluer states aren't as overt about it. Okay, I'm curious. What job they get you? Like some kind of like data entry job? What was that? I'm just curious. That one you have to again. We don't need an address. Was it an office job or some like construction job? What did they? Where did this temp agency put you for a day? Okay, a warehouse job, but not the same as the shipping company. This was a different warehouse job. Okay, one day at Amazon, and then Amazon, they do that in a lot of companies. They deliberately hire a bunch of people, and they wean them out over the course of a week. Sometimes you last a day, sometimes a week. They deliberately overhire, and then they're willing to pay the money to all those people for up to a week, and they keep who they want, get rid of the rest. Yes. Okay, that's why. Okay, now I'm a Spurg. I like things spelled out. Okay, so one day in April through a temp agency, you worked at Amazon warehouse. Doesn't really count. Your most recent job, what you call your most recent job, which is really technically your second to last job, was that warehouse, that shipping job, shipping company for 18 months and you took out a loan against your 401k 2 weeks before you quit, not knowing you were going to be quitting in 2 weeks. Okay. Does anybody else listening find this stuff fascinating? Maybe it's boring to you, but I find talking to other Spurgs and learning about the intricacies fascinating. Down to 26%. Or 25, 26%. Of course. In and out. Everyone's in and out. You, Pony Boy. It's Saturday night. You normies got your stuff to do. I was curious. What I'm curious about is maybe if you find this boring, that's fine. I find this stuff fascinating. This is the reason why I took to streaming in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm also in and out too. I have several browser tabs open, so I apologize. Like I said, I don't want to end it because that means I get to work, but I should get to work at some point for my brother's sake. Maybe I should cook a meal, do some more cleaning, a bunch of fucking dishes, like the women's work. Then I get your paperwork, the bureaucratic. This is my escape. Where was I? Millennial Tomb. The person you should talk to is PJ since he's on Australian. Yeah, you should. I don't know much about his backstory. He seemed like a nice enough guy. Yeah, talk to him. What is he on it for? I mean, I spoke to him once. He came on. I forget what he was. He was on. He told me his backstory, but I don't recall. He didn't say he was a Spurg. Maybe I don't recall him saying what he had. I know he's been in and out, lived at different places, had some legal trouble. I don't recall him saying he was a Spurg. Maybe I missed something. Do you know what he's on or how he got on? You call it Centerlink, right? How did he get on Centerlink? Like we want Social Security. How did he get on Centerlink? I've got multiple tabs open in the background here. Hold on. I get overwhelmed sometimes, but it's okay. I try to find the original tab. Hold on. Where are we? Where the hell am I? Hold on. There we are. I think I'm back. Okay. Yeah, maybe if he ever comes around again, I'll ask him. I don't recall him saying, I don't recall him saying he was a Spurg. I'll ask him. I forget. Yeah, I forget, honestly. He was talking about legal problems and he was living at this one place and the parents of the girlfriend. I forget the whole story, but I don't recall him talking about his diagnosis status. If he did tell me, I apologize. I can't remember. I don't remember the. Well, what if someone is not on Gibbs, but they're also not having sex? So there's Spurg. You have to both be not have sex, but also be on the Gibbs to be a Spurg. I think he does have sex on the Gibbs. He's on the Gibbs, apparently, according to Bob. He's on the Gibbs, but I think he does have sex. So what does that make him? Yeah, I didn't get a Spurg vibe, but I don't recall what his thing was. He seemed like a nice enough guy. I mean, you're right. Sex havers can't be Spurgs, only ugly autistic males. I'm pretty sure he's a sex haver, like a fairly regular sex haver. Anyway, we were talking about family before, and there is one thing I want to share with y'all. Apparently, I was going through some old footage, and I didn't know this. My parents, right after I was born, I was a newborn baby. They were part of some documentary about young parents. Would you like to see a short clip? Does anyone want to see a short clip of my parents right after I was born? Who would like to see it? Or not? Well, would it be fun to have a beer with Todd? Okay. Todd, I don't think he drinks, or he says he doesn't drink. I don't want to bother the guy. Like I always said. All right, I'll show you the footage in a minute. Dumb was the let's hang out, have a cheeseburger, blah, blah, blah. Todd is more just like a philosophical genius. I love hearing him talk. I love his ideas. Some of his stuff is boring to me, but he's free to share his mind. He's going about sports when he comes up with a gem. He's not really the kind of guy. I think that's what I said. Dumb saw Todd as the let's get a beer, let's go bowling. And it's like, that is not Todd. I don't think Dumb understood that. I'm like, that's not Todd. I understand it's not Todd. So when Todd's like, don't come visit me, I'm like, when did I ever say I was coming to visit? Todd isn't like that. And I tried to give Dumb, I'm like, I know I can't compare to God himself, but I tried to give him the best I could, the experience he would never have with Todd. Hey, let's get a cheeseburger, man. And maybe I wasn't the one he wanted to have a cheeseburger with, but Todd doesn't strike me as a cheeseburger beer grabbing dude. So I don't think it would be fun for anybody. I could fake my way through it for someone who's into that kind of stuff, even if they're not into it with me. And I liked our cheeseburger, but I don't think Todd is that type. You're right. Maybe I should wait till Bro C is here. Well, I can show it again. I'm amazed. My parents look so young then. Let me show you my parents. Let me see if I can pull it up. Hold on. Give me a minute. Here they are. These are my parents. Right after I was born.
Hey, man, we were really rolling. Got a job.
You see the
saved some
resemblance?
money. Bought some furniture. Nothing elaborate, but
Mommy,
we're
Daddy.
happy. Thought it was time to start a family.
We've done okay. Gotten ahead by being do-it-yourselfers.
They were.
We're young. We're with it. So I got pregnant.
We were really excited. First thing we did was pick some names.
They settled on Anton Maynard. Anton Maynard. That's me, and you can't really see me. I'm in that crib right there. These are my. Can you see the resemblance? These are my parents.
9 months seemed like a long time away.
I thought I had plenty of time to find a doctor, get my immunizations, test, and all that stuff. Figured it just wasn't important.
But it was important. Yeah, we found out it really matters. Our baby was born mentally retarded.
Don't be like us. Take care of yourself. And your baby. Find out the facts. Write the National Association for Retarded Citizens.
So yes, can you see the resemblance? Was that lovely? That's me in the cradle. Oh, God. Watch that one more time. It was so lovely. Look, you can see you can see my parents. They just had me. They were so proud. Let's watch that again. My God, they were so young, so full of life. See how beautiful they are and how ugly I am.
Hey, man,
what
we were
went
really
wrong?
Got a job, saved some money. Bought some furniture. Nothing elaborate, but we're happy. Thought it was time to start a family.
We've done okay. Gotten ahead by being do-it-yourselfers.
They
We're
were.
young. We're with it.
They were.
So I got pregnant.
We were really excited. First thing we did was pick some names. 9 months seemed like a long time away.
Anton Maynard.
I thought I had plenty of time to find a doctor, get my immunizations, test, and all that stuff. Figured it just wasn't important.
But it was important. Yeah, we found out it really matters.
It does.
Our baby was born mentally retarded.
Don't be like us. Take care of yourself and your baby. Find out the facts. Write the National Association for Retarded Citizens.
It's so great seeing my parents so young and full of life, and when they thought things would go someplace. Wow, wasn't that nice? Exactly. I'm pretending it's a joke, but it's real. Yes. Anton Maynard. So as you can see, these aren't the sort of people teaching me about stock trading and whatnot. Very irresponsible, very self-centered boomers. But hey, maybe I got some Chris Chan in me. I must say, my mom was kind of hot when she was younger. Can we pull her up again? Where the hell is she? My mom was kind of hot when she was younger, wasn't she? We should have done some Chris Chan type stuff. Yep, that's my mom. There she is. You can clearly see the resemblance, right? Or did I pull her up? Oh shit, I didn't pull it up. Share screen. Share screen. Yeah, we can see the resemblance, right? My mom was hot. I'd go Chris Chan on her. Wow. Anyway, yep, that's me when I was a newborn baby. Your thoughts? I'm sharing parts of my past and whatnot, and no one seems to care. I'm trying to give a little bit of who and what I am. They sure did. They were so happy to have me. It was a commercial for newborn first-time parents. I was the firstborn. What'd you think? Was my mom kind of hot? Was my dad sexy? That's funny. We'll have to ask him next time he's here, because I forget too if he's older or I am. I forget sometimes. Who looks older? Which one of us looks older? It's an honest question. You can be honest now. Do you think I look younger than Bro C? I honestly don't know. He's asleep. He's got to go to work tomorrow. But he'll join us again someday. Maybe. Maybe not. That's interesting. Yeah, those sunglasses might throw off, make him look older or younger. I don't know. Huh. I honestly can't remember. Well, what color eyes do I have? Are my eyes like a greenish? I can't tell. Because I think my brother's eyes are lighter than mine, but darker than my sister's. My sister's blue eyes, like China blue eyes. I think his eyes are somewhere between me and my sister, I think. I'm a Spurg. I have a hard time looking people in the eye, even my own brother. I can't tell. Some people say they're brown, some say they're green, some say hazel. I don't know. I think my brother's eyes are more noticeably greenish. I think. I don't know. So I think they're lighter than mine, but darker than I think. We'll have to take one of these days. We'll do the eye reveal. In the meantime, you can look at my eyes. Look at me. Is that like a zit, a white? What is that? What is that? There we go. Hey, the early 80s were a different time. So, of course, that seems dated now. That was over 40 years ago. Well, now you're reminding me of my favorite scene in Wayne's World 2. But I don't know if I can play that because I'll probably get a copy strike. You know, we'll make sure we cross the T's and dot the lowercase J's. That one guy, the one guy at the office with the monocular albinism in the one eye or whatever it was. So not working. Are you depressed, complex because you don't have money coming in? Or are you complex because you want to work and feel useful? Or you're depressed because you want to work so you can pay more into it so you can be eligible for SSDI in the future? Why is the lack of a job causing depression? Financial strains, or you want to feel useful, or you think it'll get you normie? Like Todd was saying, be normal, you got that tight pussy, or you think it'll just get you more base years for Social Security, or what is the root cause of this depression over not having a job? Well, you say you want to live with your mother until she dies. Can I ask, how old is your mother? How old is she? I'm not saying I want her to die. I'm saying, how old is your mother? Because if you live with her and she's cool with you living with her and she's making $4,000 in SSDI and she's got a bunch of stocks and bonds and shit, it sounds like you're not going to go homeless. To me, it sounds like you're well cared for. Your mother is making and again, you won't tell us what state you're in. But where you are, $40,000 is more than it is in Jersey. So your mother makes good money just from the maximum amount of SSDI, and she's got a bunch of stocks she trades and buying all this shit. So it doesn't sound like you're at risk of ending up on the street. And it sounds like she's cool with you living with her. So I don't understand. You want to work for more stocks? Yeah, you're from a... Interesting. Endymion. And I forgot to ask Doggo if he's still here. Doggo was telling us that he recently lost his job because the company was bought out by another company and they're downsizing. I forgot to ask him. I would say apply for unemployment immediately. It's interesting. The two Californians, and they say as California goes, so goes the nation. Why did you lose your job? Was it something you did? Was your company acquired like Doggo claims? Is AI replacing you? I'm curious why two Californians have recently lost their job. Interesting. This is why we do these streams. We learn interesting things. Had to cough, sorry. Oh, yes, a good parallel. See, that's why I was so surprised with all. I have one more piece. This is very heavy, very filling. That's why I was so surprised with Off Grid. I thought he understood and was cool with, because I wasn't judging him. I thought he understood the reality of his lifestyle. Apparently, he was in deep denial. I think I read a study once. People who are depressed, people who are down, people who feel miserable are actually more realistic about life and what's really going on than people who are not. So sometimes, people with depression are actually more correct and astute in their observations. I thought he wanted to stay with his mother and take care of her till she died because she has MS. Did I miss something? AI in India is better than Indians in America taking your job. But yeah. Doggo, also in your area, Southern California. And Damian, can I ask, are you in Los Angeles or are you the one in Santa Barbara or sex addict? You're in Los Angeles, right? Because Doggo's in Los Angeles. He just lost his job. Okay. But still, 2 Californians, Los Angeles area. Oh, I thought before you were concerned about your mother's well-being. Now you're saying your mother is the reason you're an incel. I thought it was because you were spurred with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. How did your mother make you an incel? So 2 Los Angelinos have lost their jobs recently. I'm sorry to hear. It's because last time I saw both of you, you were both employed. 2 Los Angelinos have lost their jobs. I'm sorry to hear. As California goes, so goes the nation. My brother still has his job, his union job, but they're cutting his hours ridiculously. Okay, I guess she gave you autism and ugly looks with her genetics. You're blaming her by pride. I mean, yeah, my parents. Did I show you the video of my parents? Do I have to show it one more time? My parents right after I was born. Let's take a look here. Where was it? This goes back to the earlier 1980s, so it looks a bit dated. Remember, this was over 40 years ago. Wait, is there no fucking sound? Hold on. What did I do wrong? Oh.
Hey, man, we were really rolling. Got a job, saved some money, bought some furniture. Nothing elaborate, but we're happy. Thought it was time to start a family.
We've done okay. Gotten ahead by being do-it-yourselfers. We're young, we're with it, so I got pregnant.
We were really excited. First thing we did was pick some names. 9 months seemed like a long time away.
I thought I had plenty of time to find a doctor, get my immunizations, test, and all that stuff. Figured it just wasn't important.
But it was important. Yeah, we found out it really matters. Our baby was born mentally retarded.
Don't be like us. Take care of yourself and your baby. Find out the facts. Write the National Association for Retarded Citizens. For facts. Take care of yourself and your baby. Find out the facts.
So yes, like my dear mother said here, God, she was so young back then. So I would go Chris Chan on mommy here. If my mom still looked like that, I'd be going Chris Chan on her. That you can't see me. Baby Anton Maynard is in the cradle there. Anton Normand. But anyway, like my mother said, learn the facts. My parents realized it was over a few weeks after I was born. So please, for the love of Christ, don't be like my parents. Learn the facts. Well, part of the bad audio is this isn't a high quality. This is a lo-fi stream, but what I should point, see, there are 4 settings. I'm not sure which setting to use. I don't know where to talk. Usually when my brother's here, I'll put the mic here. Does this sound okay? I don't know how well you can hear me or not, but thank you, Sassy Cat. So yes, you got to see my parents in a commercial when I was a baby, and yes, higher quality commercials would look 80s. Shit stuff looks 70s like that. So I agree. He was going to give us all a job. Are we a step closer to starting that company? Well, Sassy is one of yours. So if I were to go to your channel right now, let me go to your channel. I guess you're watching me. Okay, I'm watching. You're watching me. Watch you. Okay. I'm on the Off Grid channel, simulcasting. Because that's where's. Let me go to this asshole. Hold on. Let me find you. Pull you up. Go to channel. Here we go. Saturday night after party. Should we do the watching you, watching me nonsense? Share screen. There we go. We're watching each other watch each other. Look at that.
So please, for the love of Christ.
So you're watching me watch Off Grid, watch me, or whatever the fuck we're doing here. So yes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that my audio isn't good enough as a secondhand simulcast on Gritty Stream. I apologize. I'll try to make it better. Does this sound okay? Okay, fine. I'll leave it there. I kind of feel like I still have that hang up. I spent most of my life with shit tape recorders where the further away the mic was, the worse it sounded. I still have that hang up. The mic's got to be right here because that's, you saw the commercial. You see how old I am. Back then, when I was growing up, things were different. Well, maybe I'm older than I claim. Maybe I was actually born in the 60s and I'm pushing 60 years old. You never know. I might not have been totally honest about, my age. I just look very young because all the glove keeps me baby looking. Is my mother's face that disgusting to you, complex, that she makes you want to vomit? I'm not going to go nuts with this damn microphone. If you can hear me fine, you can hear me fine. Cassandra, one of the things you're good for. Can you hear me fine? If she says yes, I'll take her word for it. All right. So one more time. I guess I'll share. I'll have one more beer. And then I'll probably call it. I'm tired of flipping the mic. I don't want to screw up. The wire's already fucked up. Anyway. Study this while you can watch me get up and walk. I have risen. No cane or crutches. I'm just going to walk. I'm going to hobble. You get one more beer. Maybe take a piss. I'm doing it. Can you hear me? Is the microphone okay? Hold on. Oh. Yeah, I think I frayed the wire when I ran it over. I'm still running it over. What the fuck is going on? Something. And maybe, can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Maybe I should stop. It's like a bad habit. The wheelchair, I kind of rely upon it for several reasons. One, it's still kind of a pain to walk. But two, it is comfy. I've gotten used to it being on my ass for the past 4 months. So I've gotten used to this chair. And before, my brother was like, if you're going to sit there, shouldn't you get a non-wheelchair to sit in? I'm like, well, this is a comfy chair. I'm used to it. So maybe keeping this wheelchair around is doing me a disservice. I should keep it extant, but not like at arm's length. Maybe I should force myself to work for it. That way I'm not so damn dependent. But part of it too, while physical therapy I think is good, there's still that sense of, is it really, well, it helps. Is it really the physical therapy or is that just extra? It's just naturally healing. Because last time I had physical therapy last week, it was painful. And then a few days later, I noticed it was less painful. And maybe the physical therapy helped. But I think it's just naturally healing. So I have no idea what we're talking about now. Well, so wait, you told me what you had. You've got autism. Do you have ADHD? You got the alcohol, which that one I'm not sure of. I'm suspicious of the alcohol one. Me, an alcoholic. Can you believe that? Maybe it's all just bullshit, like DBF says. PTSD, GA, and I got the avoidant. So you and I are very similar. You have all these. I also think I have OCD. And I told you, the neuropsych said, you check a lot of boxes, but you don't have the rituals. She was still very much, I believe there's something called purely obsessive compulsive disorder, where you have the thoughts without rituals. And she said, Puro is not a real diagnosis. I can't diagnose you with OCD because you don't have rituals. And maybe I do have rituals of my own when I step my fingers or whatever, but it's like the rituals weren't debilitating enough, like, stepping on every crack or every piece of every tile in the kitchen, or washing my hands compulsively, because I didn't have some like blatantly obvious ritual. She said, no, you're not. I can't say you're obsessive compulsive. Because I told her, be thorough. Whatever you think I have, put it down. Sound is great right now with this here. Oh, so is this really the front of the microphone? I should be talking to it like this? Because I thought this was the part. Yeah, I think it's the cord is fucked up. I don't know. Well, it's good. You guys, I can't tell. So what's the best way? I should have this part should be the part I'm speaking into, because this looks like it's supposed to be bent towards the speaker. I don't know. And remember, there's like 4 different settings on the back, and I got the gain turned up pretty high. And if I change a setting and change a gain, I'm gonna have to also change the microphone position. What does combined ADHD mean? Combined with what? All right, I'll take your word for it, Gritty. I will take your word for it. So straight up with the front facing me. I always thought the front was supposed to bend towards you. The back part goes down, but okay, fine. We'll try that. Okay, well, okay, good. See, I don't know. I can't hear myself. I don't know what I sound like. All right. Actually, go to my YouTube channel. It's so weird. The front is supposed to face me. And the front, this is weird. It doesn't feel right, but I'll take. Wait. Something loose in my chair. Okay, fine. All right, we'll try. But remember and remind me, if I change some of the settings on the back, then I might have to. If I change settings, that might also affect. It's because there's multi-directional settings in the back. I think I'm on that Venn diagram setting, whatever the hell that means. I think MeBanks once sent me what the different settings mean. Yes, it's a Blue Yeti. That's correct. Okay, maybe it's installed backwards. I don't know, maybe. Because I got two. I got one upstairs too. They both come installed that way. If that's the case, if this sounds better, maybe I should take it apart and redo it because this just seems backwards to me. If this part should be the part towards me, then it should be the part that goes down. So I don't know. And again, these things do have a tendency of breaking. They are fragile, so we'll see. Well, whatever I'm on now, see, you say it's working, so I'll run with that. Okay. Now I feel I've had a good stream. Now I might get off soon. Like I said, I find if I take the Concerta, my headspace has to be, if I'm on paperwork, I'm doing paperwork. If I'm in the kitchen, I'll be in the kitchen. If I'm on streaming, which I was this time, I thought I could take it, stream for an hour, let it kick in, and then change. It's almost like whenever you take that pill, whatever you're doing is the mode you go into, or I go into. That's how methylphenidate affects me. I'm going to my YouTube channel. I'm in stream mode. Hear what I sound like. Hello. I guess it sounds okay. All right. I'm going to end it soon. I'll talk to Ponyboy. Now I'm ready to talk to him. If he wants to talk, I'll bring on Ponyboy. Where do you go? I'll talk to him now. I wanted to talk Todd. I really like my idea of corporate communism. Maybe someone will get it. Even if they disagree, at least they're listening and comprehend it. The way the corporate communist idea that our capitalist society really redistributes wealth through corporations via, who's on the chosen list. And they all think they earned it when they're just being, wealth is being redistributed to them at the expense of us. We can't even get the scraps. So I like Todd's towards the end of his video. And I am curious, was he really excited to cheer for St. Mary's of the deaf? St. Mary's School for the Deaf or whatever. Was he like really into the sport, the camaraderie, the feeling? He just enjoyed the game. Did he feel it was a step closer to being normie? Because I'm curious if he's watching. You can answer that later. But that wasn't the sports stuff. Wasn't even the takeaway. The sports stuff is what got him to his main key point. So that's why I still think he's a philosophical genius. And to go back to Doggo's original question, I don't think he's the type. He's not the type. If I ever did meet him, I wouldn't say, let's have a cheeseburger. Dumb was that way. And I enjoyed meeting Dumb. That was his personality. And my interaction with him is different than it would be with a Todd, different than it would be with an Off-Grid, different than it would be with a Cassandra, different than it would be with a Bob Smith. Well, actually, I asked Bob Smith if he's still here. I never got to see that stream. What was it like when you met Dumb? How was it? And also, basically, it would be different than if I met Doggo. Everyone's kind of different. So, people are like, oh, you saw Dumb and you put your hands all over him. Well, that's the kind of guy Dumb is. And that's the kind of the nature of our relationship. Even though it was online, getting to know him, that was the kind of guy he was. And we had that, oh, hey, buddy, cheeseburger. But I'm not like that with everybody. You assume that what you see here is like a one size fits all. A lot of you people seem to think that. And that's not how life works. Maybe you do go through life like that, but well, we got the mic fixed. Okay. That was the great takeaway. You had KFC. Was that your idea or his? Did you say, well, I didn't have KFC with OC, so let's go to Kentucky Fried Chicken? Who had the idea of getting KFC? That's interesting. I wish I had seen it. I would love to have seen it. Were you like me, all handsy? You high-fiving? Were you sitting close to him in the booth, smelling his beautiful aroma? Has that been lost? Did Dumb delete? I'd love to see that. Was that archived somewhere? Is that another cartridge? Yeah, let me know when you do. I'll click on your channel. I'll check it out because I missed that. I had no idea. Was that on your channel or was it on Dumb's channel and you downloaded it? Because I thought it was on Dumb's channel, but I never saw it. And he had a habit, even before he nuked his channel, he had a habit of privating things. So I never got to see that. I would have loved to have seen that. I was, someone else met Dumb. We'll compare notes. Maybe you learned what not to do by watching me. Did you watch some of my videos when I met him and you're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be all, give me a hug. Maybe I'll be a bit more reserved. Yeah, but it was different when I met Dumb because he was leaving the country forever. I said, this is my brother. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. Let's just meet the dude. We talked about it. Fuck, he's leaving soon. Fuck it, who cares? So I enjoyed it. Right, it was on Dumb. I guess you must have downloaded it, because yeah. Well, you see, if you and I were to meet, I probably wouldn't be touchy with you. Not that I like you any less. It's just you got to go by I have enough wherewithal. Like Dumb was the sort of person. I liked the guy, and he was definitely. I would watch his videos and the streams. He was definitely the type who I might not have been the person he wanted it from. I might not have been his ideal, but he wanted a hug from somebody. That's just how he is, and I was happy to do it, even if I wasn't. I'm not the guy he wants the hug from. I'll still give him one. It's just personality. I like the guy. It was my interaction with Dumb. I think it's when you actually meet someone in real life, you can get a secondary feel for them. I had no qualms and was happy to see him. %. Damn. Oh, that's right. You got to meet Donna too in real life. Yeah, I'd love to have seen that. That sounds interesting. Yeah, that's another thing too. It's a little different. It's not just that's another thing, and this is coming from a Spurg. People are different. The way I act with him might not be the way I act with you, depending on you. I still think there's a baseline. No one should be running people over, strangling people over like a joke. It should never come to that. But and also where Dumb was at that point in time, he was still in his old house, getting ready to leave. He was in a different headspace than he was when you met him. So yeah, all things came together. Even if I saw Dumb again someday, it might not be quite the same. It's everything. It's who the other person is, who you are, what's going on, situation. It all comes together. Guy was leaving town forever, and we're happy to get in there before he left, before he said goodbye. You guys stole him from us, so I wanted to enjoy my. Because in theory, you guys can meet again. I'll probably never see James again, so I figured let me make the best of this one-time opportunity. And it was nice. What about you? Did you have a nice time? It's nice when you meet people online and they seem nice-ish. It was nice. And this is nice because it's a distraction. It's time killing. But my brother's gonna be like, you were streaming for all these hours. What the fuck? But I'll finish my beer. I'm dead serious. I'm in a good mood now, and the methylphenidate and the beer, they probably don't go well together, but it's like being hyper-focused but loose. I'll talk to Pony Boy. Let's see what he wants to talk about. Now I'm ready. I don't want to start off with him, but I'll talk to Pony Boy or whoever, just because what the hell? I'm trying to kill more time. Distractions. Unless you people are bored and want me to go. And I won't cry for yesterday. In an ordinary world, somehow I can survive. And if I have to find my way through the ordinary world, I know I'll stay alive. That song popped in my head. Something about having to deal with, I have to go back probably because I'm starting to heal, re-dealing with the ordinary world. And when you're unordinary in the ordinary world, when you're a weirdo, weirdness follows. So I've had that song just stuck in my head, in an order. What was it? Crowded rainy Thursday on the avenue with the ghost of you. And if I try to make my way in an ordinary world. Well, you control me. I actually would talk now. Now we've had a good stream. We talked Todd. We talked Complex PTSD Spurg about Neat Bucks Talk, which I love. We fixed my microphone. You got to see my parents. We learned that Endymion and Doggo, our two Los Angelinos, have lost their jobs. Doggo, are you applying? You should be applying for unemployment immediately. You should be signing up for unemployment immediately. Have you done that, Doggo? I know you're still here listening, Doggo. Don't pretend you don't hear me, Doggo. The answer is probably no. Now he's embarrassed. Well, unemployment doesn't pay much. Just like, well, Neat Bucks doesn't. So SSI doesn't pay much. SSDI. Now he's all, he's been shamed into, See, I don't know how it works, but I think even as an independent contractor, you cannot, maybe I'm wrong, and maybe it varies state to state. You don't have any chance at a claim. Maybe not. Rafterman might know better. So you're saying you're not eligible, but I still thought when you pay your taxes, you've got to calculate how much you pay into Social Security, how much you pay into FICA, how much you pay to state and federal, how much you pay, all this miscellaneous shit. And I thought, especially a state like California, I assumed a portion of your yearly taxes, when you pay the state taxes, a portion of your independent contract 1099 work would go to unemployment, I would imagine, especially in a state like California. So are you sure you're not eligible? I won't argue with you, but it just seems like California. I mean, I understand. What was the term that Complex used? He lives in a Christ worshiping red work is. What was the term? Work as you are, right to work. I look at right to work. Maybe in some states, but I figured California would have some kind of unemployment for independent contractors. Okay, if you're sure. It does sound kind of fucked. Maybe you're right. I just figured because when you're an independent contractor, you still have to pay all the taxes, but you no payroll. You got to figure out your own. But I would have imagined a portion of your state tax would go to California unemployment. I would imagine. And you can say, even though I'm an independent contractor, I've lost my contract. I'm looking for a new one. I'm unemployed. I've paid into. I would imagine, but maybe I'm wrong. During the pandemic, you could. Was that some special order that was signed? I know a lot of things went out the window during the pandemic, but I just assumed an independent contractor still pays. Maybe I'm wrong. Hello. Michael Burrows. The name sounds familiar. Now we're getting to a point where we're Gritty. Are you bringing your people in? Gritty, please. The name sounds familiar. Burrows. Oh, nice to see you. How you doing? I should get off. I don't have much more to talk about. I'm just like, again, this really is a delay tactic. I'm so focused on this because the pill, I don't want to focus on anything else. Okay, that's what I'm getting at. Okay, that is fucked. You can't claim, but I know that's what I was saying. You're definitely paying into it somehow, even as an independent. So you're paying into it, but you can't claim. That is fucked. But I had to imagine some of your earnings would go to California State Unemployment Fund. I would imagine. That's so fucked you can't claim any. That is fucked. How am I? I'm fine. I mean, I'm killing time. I should be doing other things. I took a methylphenidate. I think we had a pretty good stream. I enjoyed some of the talks earlier, getting some thoughts and points out. I enjoyed it. Basically, I kind of feel like I should go, but I don't want to go because going means I got stuff to do. My pattern's been adjusted. I've been up, it's 3 a.m. where I am here in New Jersey, but my pattern's all off. So I've been staying up to like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, sometimes 11 o'clock in the morning and sleeping. So it's bad. My pattern's all shifted and I don't want to, all these tasks I have to do, I don't want to do. 7% unemployment, 7 Social Security. Right. Well, you can definitely try to get SSI or SSDI federal, but you're saying it's just strange the state of California won't honor your payments into unemployment, even though you're paying into it. That's strange. Sad. I'm sorry to hear that. Because what's the difference really? Whether you're an independent contractor paying your own taxes or you have a W-2 job where the payroll department takes it out, either way you're paying into it in the event that you become unemployed. It's strange that they won't give you anything. Are we winding down? When it stalls, I don't have much more to say. I don't know. I want to drink my beer. I don't want to go because going means I got to hope there's a bunch of shit behind me on this table. I got to deal with all this shit and I got to deal with the shit in the kitchen. I'm looking for an excuse not to deal with it, please. But I have to deal with it at some point. But I was hoping to wait a little later to deal with it. Oh, I mentioned I got my extension of TDI allegedly through maximum amount to June 15th. And they sent me a check, but the check was only because I got my December through March. This is the March through April lag. They haven't paid me the full amount yet. I guess they won't pay me the full amount until after. They won't pay in advance. But I got some temporary TDI, temporary neat books. Thank you, Michael. I know I'm a great guy. I appreciate that. I am a great guy, yes. Some say a hero. Some say a Messiah. Second coming of Christ. First coming for the pointy hats. Doggo will tell you, I am the Savior. I'm glad the audio sounds good. Okay, so have this. What I think is the front is really more like the back. Okay. I'm going to have to take this apart and adjust it because this is so fucking weird. Oh. I disagree. Okay, I guess it is time to wind it down. What do we end on? A poem, a guitar song, any final thoughts? Yes, I got to do something now. Time to. It's a little over 3 hours. I'm going on 3 o'clock my time. So yeah, I'm going to wind it down now. Is that it? Have we said all there is to say? I do hope, even if you disagree with me, and maybe it's just like an inkling of a point. Maybe it can be hashed out better. But I like my corporate what do you call it? Capitalism is really corporate communism. The government uses the. I think this is definitely true to that. And like I said, I'm not knocking my sister. If I were a chick with a twat and they were hiring young white women, I'd jump on board too. But I'd be aware. Just like being a fucking spurg. If Neat Bucks is the answer, fine. Like I would be aware. My sister really thinks she's, hard worker, an American dream. Something there never was an American dream. Some people were given capital, and then they decided another group should be given capital. It's just shifting of capital, which is basically redistribution of wealth. You've got to be, in the whatever the chosen groups are to play and to receive said capital, because it is out of balance, out of whack. Oh my! When we moved my parents over to that place, my sisters make such a big deal about every little thing. I'm like, bitch, you make over 6 figures. It's like, what the fuck? I remember my father first had his stroke, and my brother and I moved back in because our mothers lose the house. I had originally said to my sister, I said, "Why don't you bring her in with you? You got the money." No, screw that. I'm not bringing that back. She was so so she put it on us. I remember my mother didn't have a cell phone, and my father was in the institution. It was like he had his stroke in September of 19, and then COVID hit that March. And I said to my mother, "Okay, you're going to need a cell phone. Let me get you a cell phone." So I said to my sister, "You want to get her a cell phone? Put her on your plan. You're making 6 figures. My brother and I are just wage slaving." No, it's a waste of time. So I bought my mother a cheapo track phone. It was she was never her first cell phone. It was great because when she would go to the facility, the assisted living where my father was, she had to schedule, because with COVID, you had to schedule appointments, and they would send her an email. And one time she went and they told her, "You're not scheduled today." And she said, "Yes, I am." And she pulled out her phone and proved it. So I'm so glad I got my mother a phone. And my sister bitched, "A track phone, prepaid. What a piece of shit." I'm like, "Yes, we're poor, but we got our mother a phone. You could actually afford it. You could actually buy her something nice and put her on your plan. What is your problem? You got the money to do it. Yet we're the ones doing it without question. You." And not only was my sister entitled, my mother ended up being a fucking ingrate. But it's like we did the right thing, what had to be done. And my sister thinks it's all 100% her, and I'm just lazy. It's the world is much more complex than that. All right, I think that's it. I hate to end on this note, but I guess we have to end it. Actually, I will end it with one thing. Dumb sent me a message, and it's it's a bit private, but I think I can share it with you. But I'm not sure where to put the phone to the camera. Plus, this bends this way. That's another thing. It bends this way. Close enough. So I'll play this. We'll end on this note.
I thought it fitting to read the poem personally.
Hold on, dude. Wait a minute. Is the volume up all the way? There we go. We're going to read a poem, and Dumb is going to read it to us, and we'll say goodnight. One of my favorite Australian poems.
I thought it fitting to read the poem personally to you, since you wouldn't read it on stream. A bunch of roses.
A bunch of roses.
A.B. Banjo Patterson. Roses ruddy and roses white. What are the joys that my heart discloses, sitting alone in the fading light? Memories come to me here tonight with the wonderful scent of the big red roses. Memories come as the daylight fades down on the hearth where the firelight dozes. Flicker and flutter the lights and shades, and I see the face of a queen of maids, whose memory comes with the scent of roses. Visions arise of a scent of mirth, and a ballroom belle who superbly poses, a queenly woman of queenly worth, and I am the happiest man on earth, with a single flower from a bunch of roses. Only her memory lives tonight. God in his wisdom her young life closes. Over her grave may the turf be light. Cover her coffin with roses white. She was always fond of the big white roses. Such are the visions that fade away. Man proposes, and God disposes. Look in the glass, and I see today only an old man, worn and gray, bending his head to a bunch of roses.
So that was Dumb reading my favorite A.B. Banjo Patterson poem. And now I have it, it's recorded so I can listen to it whenever I want. That's how I fall asleep. I put that on repeat. Yes. I'm talking. I noticed I clicked. Pony Boy is streaming himself. I told him I'll talk to him now. I'll talk to him now. I'm in the mood. I wasn't in the mood earlier. I want to talk about those other things first. They took precedent. But I'm telling him now. Let me know now because I'm killing stream. Because I'm not gonna start up a new stream for this asshole. If he wants to talk, I'll talk to him. I'm dead serious. It's not that I really want to talk to him, but now it's like, okay, we talk Todd, we talk Meat Bucks. Now I'm at that point where it's like I still want to delay. But once I end the stream, I'm not going to come back on to take a call. So if he wants, we'll talk now. I'll give him a minute or two. If not, okay, there he is. Wait, it says devices. No. Where's his? Hold on. Yeah, show me your face. I'm trying to bring him on. It says device is not. Now he disappeared. No, I don't have to talk to him. I'm actually just looking now. Just okay, kill 10 minutes. But wasn't it nice hearing Dumb's? How's this supposed to go? Is this where it's supposed to be? That was nice. Because I'm out of steam now, but it's a good time. I don't want to restart a stream for a call now or never. He's probably not going to come on. You can just say yes or no. Because I'm actually I'm kind of like, okay. And I'm like, okay, distractions. The methylphenidate's kicking in. Man, maybe this is a waste of time. Yes or no? Because once I end this call, I'm not going to like. I guess that's a no. Oh, well. So for now, occupy. But the next time this asshole insists on coming on, remember, I gave him his chance, and I was willing to talk just because I don't want to get off and have to, like, do work. Pardon me. And then I might waste the rest of the night just sitting around, which I don't want to do. But I'm not ready to do work, so I'm looking for distraction. Well, I clicked on his channel. It's on mute because I'm trying. I don't like multitasking. I don't like multitasking over a name. I don't even know what name I said. I told him the guy he was in and out. If he wants, let's talk now and get this over with. Otherwise, I don't want to hear it. I think he just said I unmuted. He doesn't want to come on because I'm going to change his name. I was going to call him Pony Boy. That's who he is to me, Pony Boy. That's all right. it's typical. People want to come on, and they don't want to come on because they're afraid. It's like Penny Pounder. Put me on. I'm the real Fed. Okay, come on. Well, you just talk over me. That was my queen. It's like, okay, people who insist on coming on, I'm wary of. Anyone else? Are we going good night? I think we're going good night. I think the stream is kaput. I'm just looking for distraction. No one wants to help me distract. Nobody wants to help me distract myself.